is a man. And I'll tell you what, she must have treated that beauty salon owner pretty badly. She uses the salon, and the salon turned her in. I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up. I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up. You must wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. You must wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. I was set up.
What?
And you're not supposed to get set up. How much do they hate?
Because just one of us.
It's the craziness. Just like the biggest story. Highly overrated. They just turned off the camera because they don't want me saying that. And the salon turned her in. If she was set up, then she shouldn't be leading. You know what she should have done, honestly? She should have said, I made a mistake. And then she made a terrible mistake. I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up. I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up. You must wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. You must wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up.
As it turns out, it wasn't set up. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. I don't wear a mask when I'm washing my hair. Do you wear a mask when you're washing your hair? I've been there many, many times. I always have a mask. Since we passed the bill, I always have a mask. Now I just had my hair washed. I just came out of the bowl. And that's all I'm going to say.
I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up. I was set up. Then you're not supposed to get set up. You must wear your mask. You have to wear your mask. You must wear.
Make it TCC. Frequency Radio.
This is not a valid menu option. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. This is the Gematria Effect on Truth Frequency Radio every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern. That's the show's start time, and it always goes 3 hours. I can't control the timers, the commercials, the music. It's just the way it is every Wednesday night. Happy to be a weekly guest on Truth Frequency Radio Network. And again, this show's always better when we got new voices with great calls. The number's 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. Huge focus today in the news on Atlanta. Jamie Foxx hospitalized for 3 weeks under a very vague story. Today, supposedly he speaks out through his daughter, who also found him unconscious. But we're going to talk about that Jamie Foxx story, why it's coming today, and why the news first broke April 12th, that day in history that the American Civil War began. It's down in Georgia, Confederate territory. But anyhow, we're going to talk about Jamie Foxx hospitalized in Atlanta, the mass shooting in Atlanta, where they said the shooter was arrested 11 miles from the shooting scene after the shooting on the 11th floor. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the FDA that works closely with the CDC, headquartered in Atlanta. Today, the FDA reportedly approved the first vaccine for RSV, common illness for people over age 60. So they're recommending this vaccine for people over age 60, and they're saying it took 6 decades to develop. So that's 60 years. So recommended for age 60, 6 decades, or 60 years. And we know in Sumerian Gematria, vaccination equals 666. We know man's made on the 6th day. A lot of these riddles are biblical, like how the Cladex pandemic simulation of May 15th, 2018 was exactly 666 days before the pandemic was declared. Today's date numerology is also 6. So this comes on a 6-date numerology, 6-decade developed vaccine for 60 plus. But that, from the FDA that works with the CDC, that's headquartered down in Atlanta, the city where The Walking Dead begins. More recent show about the CDC unleashing a virus in Atlanta, contagion. Again, we talk about Atlanta a lot. It's a very occult city. We were just talking about this at the beginning of the week on May 1st on the Illuminati's birthday. And what do you know, 2 days later, on the 3rd day of the Illuminati's new age, 247 years old, like how the 76ers got their 247th win on the birthday, 1776, the year of America and the Illuminati. But again, just on the 3rd day of their age, Jamie Foxx speaking out for the first time in 3 weeks. So we're going to go into all of this in more detail, but I just want people to notice how these are 3 big stories today, and they all have a focal point in Atlanta. So we'll talk about that in light of the mayor, in light of the governor. But I want to start right here. Another story in the news, and again, part of the reason that I'm disappointed this work hasn't reached more people after a decade is because if more people knew about this, I feel that rituals, just like what I want to start the show with, would become a lot less common. And perhaps if enough people knew, they would just outright stop because the game would be exposed. But over the years I've been doing this, so many entertainers have died so prematurely from the most, bizarre of reasons. And a lot of them have been athletes and medalists for the Olympics. And today we're told that Olympic gold medalist Tori Bowie found dead at her house at age 32 for unknown reasons. Found dead today, May 3rd, 5-3, her name in Gematria, Tori Bowie equals 53. Again, that song Gematria, the killing name. That song Murder by Numbers, where killing's as simple as ABC's 1, 2, 3. And then again, she was 32 years old. We call that the America number. U.S. gold medalist. America equals 32 in Gematria, 7-4-17-76, 32 date numerology. The middle degree of the Scottish Rite, the 32nd degree that shares the motto with the Jesuits at Merum de Gloriam, the 32 sun rays on the Jesuit logo, the Dodgers breaking the 32-year drought over the Rays, so on and so forth. We talk about 32 all the time, especially in regards to America. So, just think about it. 32-year-old gold medalist for the USA just found dead. And sure enough, in whatever ritualistic fashion, they'll come up with a cause of death. But seriously, athletes just killing over unexpectedly in their house at age 32. And sadly, whatever story they come up with, a lot of people will just eat it up. Their birth name, Frentorish Bowie, if I'm saying that wrong, apologies, but Frentorish Bowie, how it looks, Gematria of 84, like United States of America. Big number. Jesuit 84, Masonry 84, Atlanta, that city on the 84th meridian that's in huge focus today. George Orwell's book 1984, arguably the biggest star athlete in the moment and for quite some time. LeBron James, born in 84, the year the points record was set by another Laker. The year LeBron was born, Kareem set the record. And then when LeBron's 38 years old, 38 years later, he breaks on the 38th day of the year, scoring 38 points, getting number games. Rig sports, ritualistic death. And coming back to the Jamie Foxx thing, Jamie Foxx, in focus today, the day of the Atlanta shooting in an Atlanta hospital, finally happens to speak out on the day, that there's a big shooting in the same town. And notice, this happened again, the collapse, him being found and taken to the hospital, was April 12th. Fateful day in history, the anniversary of the start of the American Civil War, which had a lot to do with race. Last year on April 12th, it was a subway shooting in New York, Underground Railroad shooting, blamed on an older black man. Again, April 12th is the 102nd day of the year. In Gematria, slavery equals 102, like the N-word, like Back in Action, which is the film Jamie Foxx was working on in Atlanta when this happened. Back in Action, also 102. I looked into the director of that film, and he went to Yale, and we know there's a secret society at Yale. Well, there's actually 41 of them. But the most famous of which, Skull and Bones, which put number 41 in office, we know that they like the number and letter language. And I'm sure other secret societies there do as well. But isn't it interesting that he went to Yale, where almost everybody's in a secret society, and we're talking about this occulted knowledge, and so often these rituals do come back to Yale, Skull and Bones. But notice also, Jamie Foxx, from his December 13th birthday to the day he was found collapsed, 120 days in Atlanta. Atlanta has that gematria of 120, like Illuminati. He's now speaking out after 3 weeks on the third day of the Illuminati's age. And notice how Illuminati and Atlanta, they equal 48, 69, 120, both of them. There's some other 48s. Hold on. Sorry, I'm on the wrong spot on my notes. The other 48s. Back in Action, the small way, also equals 48. The movie he was working on. And his daughter's name, Corinne Fox, equals 48, like Hollywood. And Hollywood, always with the Illuminati symbolism and the predictive programming. But keep in mind, Atlanta also has a double connection to the number 15. Atlanta equals 120 the big way, 15 the small way. 120 is the 15th triangular number. The Illuminati established on the first day of the fifth month, like 1-5. Again, the week of the Illuminati's birthday. Today, the date numerology is 15 as well. On the day that there's all this focus in Atlanta, Atlanta equals 15 in the most pure cipher, also 120, which is the 15th triangular number. Today has 15 date numerology. And again, you got the mass shooting, you got Jamie Foxx, and again, the thing with the first ever vaccine, because the CDC works hand in hand with the FDA. And the CDC represents a lot of powerful companies. For other familiar patterns, he's 55 years old, which means he's in his 56th year of life. Black Lives Matter equals 56. Black Power 56. We always talk about all the rituals of Black history in 56. His daughter found him 56 days after her birthday. As we know, when you spell out 3 as a word, it equals 56. Like light equals 56. Like Abrahamic equals 56. And again, the third verse of the Bible, which is the basis of the Abrahamic religions, which there's 3 of, God makes light. So that's why 3, light, Abrahamic, all his words, most simple cipher, 56, powerful pairing. And now on the third day of the Illuminati's age, again, 3 weeks after the story begins, he speaks out. Always talking about this 3 and 56. They just did this with the XXX Tentacion killers, for example. Many other examples as well. But numbers that come together a lot. And, I noticed Jamie Foxx's birth name, Eric Marlin Bishop. Sounds pretty Catholic. Society of Jesus 56. Anyway, his name has the same gematria as the Jesuit order and order of Illuminati, which makes sense because, again, the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. And then his daughter's name, who's speaking for him today, her name equals 123 as well, like conspiracy. And here we are on the 123rd day of the year. And then I have some other gematria speculation, which you can read about on my blog, but they're things that sadly you say out on the interwebs, your content gets censored all over the place because big tech doesn't respect free speech. That's why all these little big tech campuses, which I just visited in California, they all look like little military bases full of security, police, and cameras. Again, there's nothing nice about these big tech companies and how they greet people or how they present themselves. It looks like a legitimate military, defense, police type of operation. Okay. Now the Atlanta active shooter, again, just a year ago I was out in one here in Washington State, and they were dropping the 11s all over, and they said the feds got the shooter 11 hours later after the manhunt. Now it's a little bit different today. Shooting on the 11th floor. They arrest him 11 miles away next to the Atlanta Braves ballpark, who were destroying the Marlins last time I checked today. And don't forget, Truist Park equals 117, which is why we had the future in for the Braves to win the 117th World Series. We did cover a few other pegs, but the Braves were 20-1, and that's the value of this knowledge. Allows you to hit futures, see through the news, see through the propaganda, all the stuff you're being lied to about each day. And again, hit a lot of futures in baseball with this knowledge. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the 118th World Series. Long shot odds to be there at the start of the year. Anyway, they also said that today's shooting was in the Midtown, and a manhunt ensued. Today was May 3rd, a date that can be written 5-3 or 3-5. Both Midtown and manhunt equal 35. If you look at CNN's front page, which I have up on the screen, next to the Midtown manhunt, you have how a new experimental Alzheimer's drug slows cognitive decline by 35%. Again, rituals, numbers. Yesterday, all teams that could become 5-2 in the NBA did on 5-2, as King James of the Lakers, LeBron, won on the anniversary of the King James Bible being published. Okay. Again, the 15-date numerology going with all the Atlanta stories. By the way, I mentioned how slavery, the N-word, both equal 102. So does the word police. That KRS-One song about overseer back in the days of slavery and the parallels with officer. Atlanta, the city on the 33rd parallel. Again, the number that we see in so many of these shootings. In Louisville, it was in District 33 at Building 333. The first of 3 shootings in Louisville in a week, exactly 33 weeks after the mayor's birthday. And before that, it was Nashville at Building 33, where 3 adults and 3 children were killed and 33 teachers worked. Today, it's Atlanta on the 33rd parallel, and also a mass shooting in Serbia, which came before the Atlanta story that was part of our morning programming about how they need gun control over there too, because way too many people have guns in Serbia. I lost my train of thought with the Serbia shooting. Hold on. Let me pull up my notes. Oh, but yeah, 33. Today is 33 days before Serbia's, post-USSR founding date, which is June 5th, 2006. And some people responded and said, well, Serbia is really way older than that. Yeah, but that's how they measure in the current times with all the shakeups. So you can measure to an older, more historical date, but modern Serbia, June 5th, 2006, that means this shooting 33 days before its 17th birthday. In Gematria, Masonry's 33, Mason is 17, the headquarters of the Masonic Scottish Rite Temple in D.C. at the address 1733, the new Ethan Hawke movie about a serial killer who kidnaps boys and puts them in a Masonic-looking dungeon with the black and white checkered floor. The boy finally gets out of there by learning the code is 3317. Masonry 33, Mason 17. Again, modern Freemasonry, a Jesuit creation. The Illuminati created by the Jesuits. One of Adam Weishaupt's goals was to infiltrate more of Freemasonry. Maybe it was going off the rails from the initial plan. They had to get it back on track. But yeah, there's even more to it. But again, just 33 days, then down to the 33rd parallel for Atlanta. And then, the whole thing about the vaccine approval, the first of its kind, 60 years in development for 60-plus-year-olds. Again, that on the same day as the shooting in the city Atlanta. Think about this parallel. December 14th. That's the day of Sandy Hook in Connecticut. That's the day of the first person to get vaccinated in the U.S. during the pandemic in 2020. At the end of it, December 14th, it was the nurse Sandy Lindsay. Getting awfully sandy. And then the next year, the Connecticut basketball star Jesus Shuttlesworth from He Got Game, where he stars with Jesuit-educated Denzel, Ray Allen from Connecticut gets passed by Steph Curry in shots made. So you have 3-point shots in the NBA. You have vaccine shots with Sandy Lindsay, and you got shots fired at Sandy Hook. And again, Sandy Hook established in 56, the shooting 56 years later. In Gematria, Adam Peter Lanza, the Shooter 56, like coronavirus, like COVID vaccine, like Society of Jesus, like the million other 56s with COVID that we've covered a million times. And again, the relationship with 3 and 56, because then you had the 3-point record. And then, Event 201 and Ray Allen born on the 201st day of the year, and what's said in the soundtrack for the He Got Game movie with Ray Allen where he's Jesus Shuttlesworth, perfectly synced with 9/11. Again, if you've never heard the Public Enemy song from He Got Game, the self-titled track, listen to it and listen very carefully to all of it, really, but to the part where Flava Flav, the hype man, just gets on and starts talking about the New World Order and to know your cipher. It'll all start to make a lot more sense. And then go back and see my past work on how perfectly synced the release of that song was with 9/11 in light of what he says. Just another piece of predictive programming that was put out there in the world of entertainment that's Illuminati through and through. That's how they're able to achieve what they do, because they control enough positions in all the right places to control the information flow that hits the masses. That's why we're always getting the predictive programming if we're aware of it. By the way, just another pattern, the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, he's 59 years old. Okay, 59 years old. Remember, Pope Francis equals 59. Benedict stepped down on the 59th day of the year for Francis. The 59th presidential election, that's where Joe Biden was elected number 46, exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. A lot of rituals with the Pope in 59. Today's 137 days after the Pope's birthday, the 33rd prime number. Again, going with all the 33s in the shootings. But Brian Kemp is 59 years old. Atlanta, Georgia equals 59. RSV, what the vaccine's for, is 59. 59 is the 17th prime, going with how in Serbia it's synced up with the state's or the nation's 17th birthday. But again, some of these layers to explain to certain audiences might be overwhelming. It might be too many numbers to keep track of. But the point is, you look at the way they put this stuff together, they structure the patterns perfectly. We end up talking about the same numbers with the same cities all the time. When we're decoding baseball, if we see an Atlanta game and a pitcher can get his 59th career win and the team can get the 15th win or 59th career loss and 15th loss, we're loving those things. That's what we look for each day in sports because there's key numbers. Atlanta, Georgia, 59. Atlanta, 15. Those numbers come together in sports. Here they come together in today's story where all of these things intersect. But yeah, again, just remember vaccination has that big 6-6 connection. 6 decades of development. It's 6-date numerology for 60-plus-year-olds. 6 decades is 60 years. Again, rituals are being performed, and they use the Bible like a playbook, these people. The Illuminati, which is Jesuit, which is Catholic, which goes back to the Bible. The church that has numbered the Bible and given it to us the way we know it, with things missing and things changed in the translations we have. Again, 16th century, English, Bible as we know it, calendar as we know it, named after the Pope. Again, you just go through the logical timeline, you start to see how all roads lead to Rome. And look at the Gematria on the screen. Today's shooting came on 15 and 51 date numerology. Big way, small way, Fulton County 51, Atlanta 15 where it was, mass shooting 51, conspiracy 51, conspiracy also 123, going with the 123rd day of the year, going with the thing with Jamie Foxx's daughter, whose name's 123, who's speaking for him today. But federal and Rome 51, federal also 33, like masonry, like secrecy, like order, like police, like false flag. Tonight in cable news, another story they're talking about, the explosion over the Kremlin, which looked like a bad firework, and they're saying in the U.S. media that it looks like the Russians did a false flag, to have an excuse for a bigger attack on Ukraine. Isn't it funny how in the cultural programming, people can watch the nightly news and hear the term false flag about another country doing it, but they couldn't accept that their own country could ever do it. And that's the game they play with us, and that's the ego they built up when we were children, putting all these ideas in our head where we were taught we were good children if we believed all of them, the religion, the school history, the nightly newsman. If you listen to that, if you follow that, if you make that your dialogue, what your belief system is, you're good by most people in society, and it's backwards because those are where the controllers are and the manipulators and the people who play with our emotions. And for those of us who see through it, the cultural programming teaches the programmed to think that we're bad. But anyhow, Just look at the code. And remember, words like Bible and believe have that 33 as well, like federal, which is authority, right? And then masonry's 33, and they're all into Kundalini and the spiritual ascension up to 33 bones of the vertebrae. Well, there's also spiritual descension, and that's like what this news is for each day, to keep us in this low vibration, you know, believing all this nonsense, all this fear, all this division. Mental chaos is what the news brings each day. Today's 5-3, like we talked about the dead Olympian today, name equaled 53 on 5-3, the mayor of Atlanta, Andre Dickens, 53. He's been in office for 69 weeks and 2 days when this happens. It was exactly 69 weeks on the Illuminati's birthday. And remember, Atlanta and Illuminati both equal 69. When Atlanta just beat Houston in the World Series, they gave Houston their 69th postseason loss. World Series and Atlanta equal 69. Run it the other way, World Series is 57 like Nationals. When the Astros lost to the Nationals in the World Series, they got their 57th postseason loss. 69th against Atlanta. But 69 weeks from becoming mayor was the Illuminati's birthday. It's 69 weeks and 2 days later. Atlanta 69, Illuminati 69, Catholic Church 69, New World Order 69. Special number as we know. You know, we just learn about 69 like it's an interesting number. And false flag's another 69. In fact, Atlanta equals 48 and 69 like false flag. Again, if you're new here, Gematria is based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with numerology. There's 4 base ciphers. This stuff's elementary. You study it, you realize the patterns that persist each day that are synced up with the date numerology. They're impossible to be coincidence day after day. You know, could something I mentioned tonight be a coincidence? Yeah. But all of it together? No. No, especially not when it's day after day. So there's even more I could say about Andre Dickens. You know, there's a common belief about black males, at least in our culture. You know, they tend to be a little more hung. So in a predominantly black city, isn't it funny that the puppet mayor's name is Dickens? People got jokes all across the nation. And again, just learning the code, you can see how city to city, these major cities, the rituals are synced up with the politicians, which means they were installed for the planned ritual when you understand the way the agenda is unfolding. Okay, and then let's see here. Let me see how much time we have before commercial break. Do I have time to get this in? We do. Okay, again, Illuminati. May 1st, this Monday, was the Illuminati's birthday, the 247th birthday. The top performing stock in America that day had a Gematria 247. The 76ers were the huge upset in the NBA, getting their 247th playoff win. And notice they got their 48th win over the Celtics. Illuminati equals 48, like Steven Tyler, who announced their upcoming retirement that day for Aerosmith, like Donald Trump, who said he's going to go on CNN in a rare move, down in Atlanta, where Illuminati and Atlanta are 48. But anyhow, the 76ers got their 48th win over the Celtics on the Illuminati's birthday. James Harden stayed on 48 playoff losses. Boston Celtics also equals 48. Order of Illuminati equals 201, like Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, died 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. The game was on Doc Rivers' 201st day of his age. And then the Illuminati symbol, the all-seeing eye, has a Gematria 119. And 119 points Philadelphia scored in the upset win. They also got their 244th all-time win over the Celtics on the date, leaving 244 days left in the year. Be right back, True Seeker.
I've divided goals into 2 parts. First is long range. That's your dreams for the next 3, 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. Actually, the rest of your life. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you want to be? What do you want to see? You've got to have something to go for that inspires the heart and the soul. For yourself, for your future, for your family, the dreams of love and enterprise and travel and doing things. Becoming something unique on your journey here. Don't lose your dreams. Do some dreaming. That's long-range goals. You've got to have those. Here's the second part of goals, short range. Short-range goals. That's your goals for tomorrow, this week, this month, this year. The immediate future. We call these confidence builders. Because if you set up something short range, go for it. Get it. Latch onto it. Work hard. Accomplish it. That starts building your strong feelings to go for your dream.
The reviews for Extendivite are amazing. Here are some from Amazon. By Christine, great for heart palpitations. By Anne, before I started using this product, every afternoon, my ankles and my hands would be swollen. That doesn't happen anymore. So if that part of their advertising is true, I have to assume that the rest of it is also. Not to mention that when I had my yearly blood test, only a few weeks after beginning to use this product, my cholesterol had dropped over 30 points. I'm going to continue to take it. By Croc, I love this product. It really works. By Brad, works great, thank you. Tell us your story. Get your Extendivite today. To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
For millennia, mankind has been searching for answers to the big questions, such as, where did the universe come from? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Are we alone? And just what the heck is the Sasquatch all about? I can't promise you answers, and neither can the Woo Crew, but they invite you to join them Friday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, midnight in the UK, for Freaky Friday, exclusively on Truth Frequency Radio. Spirituality, multiverse, quantum mechanics, the occult, and so much conspiracy analysis that it will make your mind melt. Take my word for it. Freaky Friday. It's more than a show. It's a way of life. I'm Stephen Hawking, and I am proud to be a Wookiee.
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
Your protection from deception. TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. We're going to take your calls the rest of the way. I like the Wu-Tang Triumph references in the chat. That is what we need to do, is triumph more than ever. Humanity's just letting way too much sand slip through the clock, and I just don't hear enough urgency in the people who are speaking out these days. You know, I'm amazed at how many people pretend to be about the truth and will not share this knowledge anywhere, which just adds up and explains what is going on day after day. But yeah, also apologies for people on YouTube. For whatever reason, the screen was frozen, so you weren't getting the visuals. If anyone needs to go back for the visuals, it's always at my website, GematriaEffectNews. No ads on there. Free Gematria calculator to download. Links to where to get my books for free. But besides that, let's go out to the callers. Again, if you want to phone in tonight, always great to have new voices. The number to call in is 213-233-3998. Again, 213-233-3998. And the first caller tonight is 813. 813.
Hey, Zach. Thanks for taking the call, man.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. So, hey, man, obviously I've listened to your work for a long time, from the Boston Bruins bust that just happened and the 76ers gem you threw out, time and time again. It just shows itself. So thankful to hear these things, and they come true as we see them unfold on the day-to-day basis in news. But, as I hone in on the deaths by the numbers, I realize the elite delve into these targets' lives to find either faults or sins or whatever it may be, which ultimately results in their end by the numbers. And these elite, I I really believe they have a medical condition, and I think it's something of a narcissistic psychopathy with the intent to harm others for their own self-gain. And there are literal bird brains utilizing their reptilian or primitive brain versus us, who are utilizing our mammalian brains, which are for the greater whole, the nurturing capacity. And I think this is something that should be looked into. Obviously, this is true. There is a reptilian brain in us, and some of us may use that and have this condition. And I think that's what they have.
Yeah. I'm not as good with the vocabulary as you, but it makes sense. I mean, it's obvious that our fellow man who doesn't want to see this, that they are in a lesser state of mind.
Absolutely. And I think that these numbers, and if you can correlate why they're doing them on certain days, they gain advantages. They think they're gaining advantages.
Here, let me respond to that thought. Again, you guys, there is, again, as silly as it seems, all this number casting, there really is something to it. And probably one of the best things about me doing this for a decade is I've just been able to witness the organic sides, and I've just had so many strange things happen being aware of this that you realize there really is something to it. And I asked the question, I said, well, am I manifesting this because I'm so focused on this number? Am I making it come into my life? But somehow, one way or another, it's happening, and it's mind-blowing. It's like in Gematria, in the most pure cipher, L's the 12th letter, and numerology 12 is 1 plus 2 is 3. A's the first letter, so L plus A, the abbreviation for Los Angeles, it's 3 plus 1, which equals 4. And I've never seen so much 4 in my life. And consider my birth numerology, the day I was born, July 21st, 1983. In numerology, it breaks down to 4. I'm born in the time of Cancer, which is the 4th sign. So I naturally have this 4. But when I was in LA, it was just ridiculous how much 4 was coming. Just like in terms of things people said to me, in terms of directions, and where I ended up finding parking. And then finally when I get to a garage and I realize it's a trick, it's more expensive than it said it was, and it's $44 on 44th Street. And then I get home from LA just to see if more people are jumping on for the support. And literally my Patreon's at 4,444 subscribers, all 4s. Which is low. I mean, it was over 2,000 higher a year ago. We've been on the decline. I guess as things become more expensive, unfortunately, people falling off the wagon. But again, just all this and literally, when I was in Palo Alto talking about, being in Big Tech's Origin's backyard, I still remember, I thought it was funny because we were talking so much about Bob Lee's death on 4/4 and the predictive programming for his death by the Fed on the Ides of March to remember the killing of Caesar in 44 BC, which is the thing we talked about the most while I was in Northern California, near where it happened in the days after. But I kept talking about the 4/4 thing as all this 44 comes. And in that Palo Alto stream, I remember the super chats. It gives you the total revenue at the end. It said I made $44.44 earlier the day before I was in Sacramento. And the woman there, who's for Survivor Speak, we asked what their organization's about, and she has to point out that they represent 44 member organizations. And it's just like, this is crazy. I'm talking about 4/4 and Bob Lee's death all over the place. 4s are coming everywhere. I get to LA, even more 4s come. I get home, it's all 4s. So, I mean, you can't make that stuff up. And it seems like every time I get out to educate about this knowledge and I put it out into the world, it seems like it bounces back even harder in real time. So through observing these things, it makes me think if you understand how to use the number magic, if you will, in your favor, it could be beneficial in terms of everything from selling gizmos to influencing the outcome of, perhaps the news or an election or a sports game. I mean, it really does seem that there's a true magical component, and it should remind everybody that this knowledge, part of the ancient mystery religions, and specifically Kabbalah, which is mentioned in Genesis 3:22, and Kabbalah's physical model is the tree of life, which is mentioned in Genesis 3:22, made out of 3 pillars and 22 paths, the special number of skull and bones. So again, there's obviously there is some kind of power in magic and sorcery and numbers. And again, I'm an amateur. I can see what they're doing, and I can understand it well enough to come to logical conclusions and make accurate predictions about the future, more often than not. But I still don't know everything about this. Like the people who are actually doing this, that they
Sure.
understand the real intent
Right.
and the way to use it. I still haven't figured all that out.
Yes,
And
sir.
us as a community, I think as a community, we'll probably get close to where they are as time goes on and more minds come and more people share voices and people who know things. So anyway, I'm long-winded tonight,
Yep.
but that's my answer to what you're saying about that.
No, I'm on the same page with you. I beat my head against the wall to try to understand it too, and there's another level, obviously. But I guess the more information that we continue to collaborate with, maybe come to a conclusion, maybe not, but with the hope that there is something of a truth, right? But yeah, man, I'm on the same page with you. Thanks so much for taking the call. It's a pleasure to continue to hear you speak, and I hope you guys have a great podcast the rest of the night.
Thank you. I appreciate your call. You have a good night.
Take care, man.
See. Okay. Here's George, who we missed in San Francisco. What's up, George?
Oh, hello, Zach. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, great. Thank you. So, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this. I have a degree in history from California State University. So, in other words, I know nothing about history. So, to that end, well, do you mind if I throw you a curveball, so to speak?
Sure.
Okay, well, growing up, when I was completely asleep, I was into baseball. I liked playing it, and I liked watching it and listening to it. And if I could just mention a couple of things that may sound like ancient history, if I could mention, well, as you know, I live about an hour or so north of San Francisco. And back in 2010, 12, and 14, the San Francisco Giants won the World Series, which is the only time they've done that since they've been on the West Coast. And I'm sure you've probably talked about this. And even back then, when I saw it again, I said, geez, that seemed a little contrived. I mean, were those, it almost seems as if their opponents, the Rangers in 2010, the Tigers in 12, and the Royals in 14, through the World Series. I'm just thinking that in the back of my mind. And case in point, as I said, the Giants won their first World Series in the Bay Area in 2010, thanks largely to the bats of Pat Burrell, who was born on October 10th, 1976. And Burrell was a decent slugger. He played most of his career with the Phillies. The previous year, 2008, he signed with the then, they were known as the Tampa Bay Rays. Well, they used to be known as the Devil Rays. And he spent the bulk of his time as a designated hitter. But they released him in late May of 2010 because he just wasn't performing. So they picked him up. The Giants picked him up on waivers, and he spent a little time in AAA. And in early June of 2010, they called him up. Oh, by the way, Burrell went to Bellarmine Preparatory School in San Jose. Basically, he might have actually even passed there, come near there a couple of weeks ago. So he was trained with Jesuits. And I remember listening to this on the radio. They said, boy, Pat Burrell is almost like a Cinderella story of the Giants, because here he was basically at the end of his career, and he was able to squeeze out, the Giants were able to squeeze out one more decent season from him. And also that in early June 2010, the Giants called up Buster Posey, their catcher. He played with them briefly in 2009. And Posey won the National League Rookie of the Year. And the following year, that almost came to a crashing end on May the 25th, 2011, when Scott Cousins ran into him. And it not only did it end the season, it almost ended his career. Well, as it turned out, Scott Cousins got his undergrad degree from the University of San Francisco.
Okay.
Which is, if you look up Cousins, Cousins' career, his stats weren't very impressive. He was a sub 200 hitter, but his whole cause to love was he was the dude who ran into Buster Posey. So, what is my point? Well, do you agree with my suspicion that these events, like the Posey injury in 2011, that was contrived?
Like I talk about, George, pro sports are all contrived, scripted BS, and taking advantage of it. If you were on the Patreon, you would have just won 2 nice upsets with the Giants over the Astros. They had all the numbers to do it. But, yeah, I mean, it's all contrived. It's been contrived for longer than our lifetimes. You can take the knowledge and go back and look and see through all of it. And, again, it's a reminder that all the American sports are credited to secret societies. So...
Oh, yeah, so one little detail I'd like to mention about Posey. Now, for what it's worth, his birthday is March 27th, 1987. So he was the whippersnapper in 2010, and Bull was the geriatric case, so relatively speaking. Now, as I said, he had this injury, Posey had this injury on May the 25th, 2011, and I'm sure you can find the significance of that. Now, Cousins, as I said, had a less than stellar career. He was born in January 22nd, 1985. So Posey missed the remainder of the 2011 season, but the following year he won the National League MVP and he was named the comeback player of the year. And the Giants went on to win the World Series. And I was saying to myself, wait a second, is this real? That seemed a little bit, what do I say, fake or whatever, but it's almost as if this is done on purpose.
Indeed, just like we talked, again, it is all done on purpose. Just like how we began the show talking about the 76ers' huge Illuminati ritual winning the playoff game the day they did. It's just like LeBron winning on the publishing of the King James Bible. It's always been a big joke.
Okay, so I'm not going to elaborate. If I could just mention one other thing. I've not looked into this, but I'm not sure if you know this, but I guess today, or yesterday today, the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, they went on strike. Have you talked about that earlier today?
No, I missed that story.
Okay, so I'm looking into it. Perhaps I can get back to you on that next week. However, what I can tell you, so the strike was today, May 3rd. So when it comes to Gematria, I defer to you because that's your bailiwick. So is there any significance as to why they do it today?
I'd have to look into it. I haven't done any research on it, so I'm sure there is.
So what it's worth, that means several shows, that's going to affect several network shows, like the late night talk shows and whatever's on these days. So that means that's going to have an adverse effect on the propaganda and mind control.
Well, or it gives them a chance to go back and play reruns of more symbolic shows that they want to make sure people saw. So.
Okay, so I'll look in more into the WGA, and I'm sorry. Well, thank you for mentioning the shooting in Atlanta. This is the first I'd heard of it.
Yeah, it's one of the big stories today on CNN, right in their own backyard in Atlanta. So.
Oh. Okay.
Well, all right. Appreciate it, George. Thanks. You have a good night.
You do that.
All right. George is often interesting, but I also feel like he never listens to anything I do at all during the week or even at the beginning of the show when he calls in. I'm like, didn't I just talk about that? Okay. 301.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing, Zach? It's been a while. Last time I talked to you was the Trump was the opening day thing for the MLB and the Batman tribute and Joker.
Yeah. Right. That was a good call.
Yeah. I wanted to actually make amends on that. I accidentally told you that Robert Pattinson was Joker. I meant to tell you he was Batman. But anyways, nonetheless,
which made even more sense. It actually made even more sense because Trump refers to himself as Batman, and that's where the whole 322 connection comes in through the 33rd episode of the Batman show with the Skull and Bones dialogue. So, yeah, it's okay.
Right on. All right, cool. Thanks, man. So what I have for you today is to expound on Jamie Foxx. If you have the screen up, I was wondering if you could pull up Wikipedia and type in Seoul 2020.
Seoul 2020 in Korea? That's Seoul?
No. Just Seoul, like the human soul.
Soul 2020. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a movie Jamie Foxx did for Disney.
Is it about a New York jazz pianist? Oh, this is the cartoon movie that's messed up. Yeah.
Yep. Now, if you look at that very first paragraph, because I don't expect you to read the plot online, but the very first paragraph, it says the story follows a pianist named Joe Gardner, in parentheses Fox, who falls into a coma by an accident before his big break as a jazz musician, and he seeks to reunite, get this, his separated soul and body. Guess who just came to today?
Say that again?
Guess who just came to today? Remember, he made his first statement today, Jamie Foxx.
Right.
So when I started looking into this, right, I scrolled down and I looked at the release date, and they have 2 dates. They have October 11th, which was some like BFI festival. I guess it's like an overseas kind of deal, and then they have the date for America. Well, the date for America, it was released on December 25th, 2020, during the pandemic. So I did my due diligence, plugged that into the calculator, and it turns out it was 859 days ago. 859 is the 149th prime. Today is 5/3, and if you flip it around, it's 35. 149 is the 35th prime.
Well, and look at what day the actual release was. It was on 12/25, and remember the square root of 12/25 is 35. Like Catholic, like Jesus, like big special number to the church. So yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then as more and I went on it, I was looking and I was like, well, damn, a pianist slips and falls into a coma, and I'm thinking, well, what was he what was Jamie Foxx's most notable role? And it dawned on me, he played Ray Charles, and he won an Academy Award. And Ray Charles, as everybody should know, is a famous pianist. I mean, granted, he did other stuff, jazz, all that good stuff, but he was most notable as a pianist. And I was like, oh my God, right? So I kept going through this thing, and also on the calculator from that day. When it was released to today, is 122 weeks and 5 days, like 12/25. And I also noticed that the guy's name was Joe Gardner, or Joe, right? And when you put in Joe in the calculator, it's 51 and 15. And, the date numerology today is 51 and 15. So I'm just like, this stuff maybe this was like some sick ritual, man, from that movie Soul that has like tied into this. Because I actually watched it earlier today. It was actually really esoteric. I'm surprised they released this stuff for kids, but then again, I'm not surprised because they love including death themes and stuff like that. But I don't know, when I seen this and heard some of what you were talking about with Jamie Foxx, I was like, my God, man, there has to be more to this.
Well, how I was saying, his daughter found him 56 days after her birthday. His character's name in the show, Joe Gardner's 56, and you're absolutely right about the Ray Charles thing. Also, he's known for his role in the movie about Muhammad Ali, where Will Smith was Ali. And, there's another big boxing movie out in Hollywood right now, Creed 3, and we know that actor went through his shaming ritual at age 33. So, yeah, I remember this Soul movie. I thought it was kind of creepy, but you're absolutely right. Jamie Foxx, who played Ray for Ray Charles. And then this year's 19 years since Ray Charles' death, and we know about the 19-year cycle of the moon, so that's also interesting.
Right. And also, this is probably going to be the last nugget I think I have for you. So he has a sidekick in the movie, right? So basically, long story short, do you have because I'm not watching the actual broadcast because I don't want it to interfere with the call, but if you go to the calculator itself, his soul is separated from his body, and he's going on this conveyor belt. And I hope I'm not ruining it for anybody, but long story short, they call it the Great Beyond, right? But in the Wikipedia, I noticed they only highlighted Great Beyond. They didn't add the, right? So I put in Great Beyond, and you wouldn't believe what that would come out to. 53 full reduction and 55 reverse. Today's 5-3, and Jamie Foxx is 55.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, this is sick. This is absolutely sick.
Yeah, and that's what we see again and again, right? That's what we've been talking about the whole time, is how when these celebrities, when these things happen to them, when they end up dying, so often it's connected back to the work they're remembered for.
Right, and then, to get back to the sidekick, long story short, he's trying to find his way back to his body, right? And a lot of people, make up assumptions of what's going on in a person's brain during a coma, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, he has a sidekick named 22. Literally just the number is 22, and it's Tina Fey. Tina Fey happens to be born on May 18th. today marks 15 days before her birthday. And it's a life lesson. I'm like, dude, this shit is crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but this is wild. Like, the way they think these things is just so ridiculously crazy. You know,
the word soul.
So
the word soul has a gematria of 23 as well, and here we are in 2023 again, 19 years after Ray Charles' death. I have to go back and look at his Ray Charles movie and how it fits in. I'm sure it does.
Yeah. Oh, and I have another thing for you real quick. I hope I'm not taking too much time. Long story short, the other day you got me thinking. You planted a seed in my head about the Shaq Barrett thing. And I wanted to, kind of expound on that. Not the Shaq Barrett thing, but basically I found something that could happen with Tom Brady. So long story short, Tom Brady, he won, his 7th ring and became 7-3 in Super Bowls on, 2/7/2021, right? Super Bowl 55. And, when I was looking at the number 73 and how it relates to sacrifice, when I typed in sacrifice, I also saw that, it's 73 and 46, and Tom Brady's currently 45, and he's getting ready to turn 46. So I put in the the date of the Super Bowl 55 all the way until his 46th birthday, and it comes out to 900 and 7 days. And if I'm not mistaken, hold on, let me pull it up here. I got it written down. Just give me 1 second. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, it's 907 days. And that comes out to, 155th prime. And remember, he won that Super Bowl during coronavirus, and coronavirus comes to 155. And so I'm not saying that it's like certain that it's going to happen with Tom Brady, but I think either him or I noticed they kept doing rituals with his mom and kept flirting about that she has cancer and all this stuff. I don't know if somebody close to him is going to die or if him himself is going to die, but I feel like there's something like leading up to like him being 46 and have one of those Super Bowls and becoming 7-3 in Super Bowl. So I just kind of wanted to plant that seed just in case we see something weird happen in the future. Because I noticed that the other day when you were talking about Shaq Barrett, and I was like, well, damn, he just did a sacrifice with his daughter, which I think that's linked up with Shaquille O'Neal, but I have my own reasons for that, only because of the whole 34 thing and the fact that she died on April 30th, and 4 plus 30 is 34, and I believe Araya sums to 36. Full reduction, and Shaq's birthday is on March 6th. So it was a whole thing, but like once you did that whole presentation, I just started thinking about Brady, and I was like, oh my God, man, there might be something to him winning those 7 Super Bowls and losing those 3 Super Bowls. So we shall see. Time will tell.
Yeah, very interesting observations. And again, we've been talking about all the clues for Baltimore. Shaq Barrett's from Baltimore. Where's the number 58 right now? Baltimore equals 58 in Gematria. Baltimore also equals 41 like Super Bowl, and his daughter died exactly 41 weeks before Super Bowl 58, where Baltimore was the big talk of the draft with the Lamar Jackson record contract. So, yeah.
Yep, and real quick, this is the last one, and I'll go ahead and get off because I want to hog the time. If you can just put in Shaq's birthday, 3/6, to, 4/30, it was 55 days later, man. And you said that was the anniversary of the Church of Satan, and I know Satan sums to 55. Well, Shaq Barrett played in the 55th Super Bowl.
And that's how old Jamie Foxx is right now. He's 55 years old.
Exactly.
Selling your soul.
Exactly.
Yeah, selling your soul.
There's something going on, man.
Yeah, you're definitely right about the soul thing. And you know what's funny is when I watched that movie, I didn't realize that the voice was Jamie Foxx. I overlooked that. But I'm going to go back and look at that Ray movie. Again, it's just so obvious. His character named 56. His daughter finds him 56 days after her birthday. We know how special that number is and who it all goes back to. Those Jesuits. I mean, in a Sun Cult, look at the movie poster for Soul. A man going down a flight of stairs that are made out of piano keys, and the soul, the O, is made to look like the sun, or also like the light at the end of the tunnel. All right, we'll be right back, everybody.
One of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. Wendy, we gotta get those routers, please. Get up! Get up! Routers. Come on, Kelly, we can get those routers. Those routers. Wow! If you got those routers, what that will show. And they don't want to give up the routers. They are fighting like hell. Why are these commissioners fighting not to get the routers? How simple could it be? That will tell the truth. And they don't want to give up the routers. What are they trying to hide? And I say it, and I'll say it, because the easiest way of cheating is to throw them away. That's easier. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. Wendy, we gotta get those routers, please. Get up! It's so unfair. It's so unfair. It's so ridiculous. I'll be honest, though. Look, we all like to win. If I lost this election, I could handle it pretty easily. Running 24, sir, you're gonna win. And I say, wait a minute, I just won 6 months ago. The big lie, they call it. Those things are unproven. And knowing what happened in the election is a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's a good thing. The county has refused to produce the network routers. We want the routers, Sonny. The county refused to produce the network routers. Wendy, we gotta get those routers, please. Get up! If you think about everything about cancel culture, they want cancel culture. But what they don't want to do is anything having to do with the 2020 election. We have no press. We have no voice. They almost got away with it. They may have gotten away with it. And I've got to tell you, I've got to say this. I've never said it before, but I've always thought it. I get along with Putin because that's a good thing, not a bad thing. The county has refused to be...
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network. TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
We have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. Over the break, Amy from cracktheircode.org, she pointed out that from Ray Charles' last birthday anniversary, September 23rd, to Jamie Foxx having his emergency, April 12th, was 201 days later. 201. We find this number again and again in these Jesuit Illuminati rituals. Order of Illuminati 201, the Jesuit Order 201, Adam Weishaupt, the founder of the Illuminati, dead 201 days after his anniversary. Same pattern all over the place. In Chadwick Boseman's death, he died 201 days from Michael B. Jordan's birthday, his nemesis in Black Panther, on Jack Kirby's birthday, who wrote the Black Panther, on the makeshift Jackie Robinson Day for the COVID season, where the Jackie Robinson was in the Black Panther tank battalion in World War II, at least in the history books. 201 all over Kobe and a whole bunch of others. But 201 days from Ray Charles' birthday to Jamie Foxx's incident, when this all seems to have been foreshadowed in the movie Soul, where Jamie Foxx is a pianist who's like in this purgatory type thing, a Catholic idea. And again, the Jesuit order equals 201, one direction. When you run it the other way, 177. 201, 177. Jamie Foxx's birth name equals 177. Again, his birth name is Eric Marlin Bishop. For another 177, it's medical complication, what they've been saying for the last 3 weeks. A medical complication. Oh, that's very vague. It's so vague. We don't have any investigative journalists that can come up with better than medical complication. Again, I mean, in a world of BS media, it's why we really are the #1 media community. We're breaking through the BS and showing who's giving us the BS, for what purpose, why they do it by this Kabbalistic pattern. Again, if you're new here, this is the belief system in Kabbalah that how God operates. This is how people are playing God over humanity with the same old code. And in Gematria, the Holy Bible equals 201 as well. That's all the biblical rituals, from 666 to Genesis 11:9, where the Tower of Babel ends, like how the 11th day of the 9th month was 9/11, the tower that divided the world, like the Tower of Babel, like how 2 towers became 0 before they became 1, like the Holy Bible 201, this big Illuminati Jesuit number, when Pope Francis is the first pope that's Jesuit and the first to live in Suite 201, and his birth name's 201, like the founder of the Jesuits. By the way, Ray Charles' birthday, September 23rd, that's the day the Pope spoke in D.C. in history. Jesuit D.C. on the 266th day of the year as the 266th Pope, when the Jesuit motto "Isus Omnum Salvator" equals 266. So yeah, I mean, that's minds coming together, realizing the Jamie Foxx soul and then Ray Charles pianist connection. There's probably even more, you know, but already the Illuminati numbers are coming together, and we're talking about the big old Illuminati ritual that pays tribute to history, that American Civil War history where Lincoln said if it wasn't for the sinister influence of the Jesuits, this never would have happened. And then in the insurrection where the Confederate flag flew, these same 201 numbers all over that, from Ashley Babbitt to 201 days after the only Confederate statue in D.C. falling, which was connected to George Floyd, which is a huge 201 ritual, which is back in the news right now. You know what's funny about the 201st day of this NBA season? It's going to be May 6th, the day of the King Charles coronation, as LeBron and the Lakers in the purple and gold royalty colors have their first home game. When LeBron's trying to get to 5 and 6 in the finals, and the King's having his coronation on 5-6. And again, King James' son in history was King Charles. Royal family 56. Like Society of Jesus, like all the fleur-de-lis on the Catholic crowns of the royal family. You know, there's a lot of good researchers in the truth community who never talk about Gematria, and they never go past Israel and Zionism either. Have you noticed how many big channels just keep it there? It's Israel and Zionism. State of Israel, 201. David Ben-Gurion dead 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. David Ben-Gurion, 145 like Catholic, like the 14/5 establishment date, like the 145 more chapters in the Catholic Old Testament than Protestant. Again, the whole calendar, language, Bible, it all goes back to the same point in history. All of these rituals, biblical, by the numbers ever since. Nobody can still talk about it. You know, from Adam Green to American Vagabond to Richie from Boston to A Call for an Uprising to High Impact Flicks, who's now Here's the Deal, to the rest of them. You know, all these channels that have climbed to 500,000 subs, while I've been deleted 20 sometimes, they still can't bring up the work. They still can't take it past Israel, Zionism. Again, look into who the Jesuits are. The Jesuits are a Catholic-Jewish alliance. Okay? It's a lot more specific than just blaming everybody of one religion, and it's not to say it's all Jesuits either. It's the Illuminati Jesuits. It's the one in high places. You know? Trump's not calling shots, but he's high in the network. That's why Donald Trump equals Illuminati. That's why he was in the news big on the Illuminati's birthday for going on CNN down in Illuminati town, Atlanta. But yeah, they're in the network. They're in the club, but they're still on strings. And we're getting played by the rest of them. That is for those of us who still are fooled by, you know, Donald Trump and the other actors on the world stage. All playing their part. Okay, but let's get back to the calls. Very good research from the community. Again, Amy's website, cracktheircode.org. Her YouTube channel, Crack Their Code. All is one word, no spaces. Spelled there the right way, THEIR. Crack Their Code. Amy. Let's go out to 301. 301, you're on.
Oh, hello?
Hello.
Hey, it's still me from earlier. I was just listening on the phone.
Okay. All right. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Let's go out to 772.
Hey, Zach, can you come back to me a little later?
Sure. All right. We'll come back to him later. Let's go out to 607.
Yo, it's 111 days until Randall Cobb's birthday, who signed with New York Jets today.
Okay, the latest New York 111 ritual. Okay.
Yeah, a day after
and
the Knicks win.
This goes with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, like Brett Favre, going to New York at age 39. We call New York the 39 state. 1 million New York 39 rituals. Add these ones on. People still not catching on the patterns, even when it's the same quarterbacks from the same teams. When Rodgers came in the league, he was under Favre. Now they both go to New York at age 39. Again, New York 39, Empire 39, date of establishment 39, the letters NY 39's forwards, the letters NYC 39 in reverse. G-Min 39, like they called the Giants. What was the score of the all New York Super Bowl? Wasn't it 39? I mean, just all throughout history, 39 New York. And now the latest one, and people still don't get it.
Yeah, Randall Cobb equals 39 in the most pure cipher.
Yeah, so and you just mentioned the 111. Again, with the alphabetic order, A is 1 up to Z is 26. New York is 111. With the alphabetic order in numerology, New York is 39. 111-39. Knicks just won their game with 111 points yesterday.
Yeah, that's the mockery of it. That's just, they're just begging people to catch on to what they're doing. Just a day after the Knicks win with 111, Randall Cobb signed 111 days from his birthday, and Randall Cobb 39.
But by the way, since we're talking sports, again, for all the people out there that just sit around with their hands, tucked under their ass and never try to sign up for the Patreon and see what it's all about, again, Boston blowing out 76ers today. And what was the call? Why did we like Boston today? Because it's 307 days after the Boston Celtics coach's birthday, 307, the 63rd prime. I know I was just talking about that number pattern with Kobe and Field of Dreams and his death just yesterday. But 307, the 63rd prime, and today Boston getting their 63rd win over the 76ers in Philadelphia, perfectly synced with the current coach who just took over this year, who's clearly put in there for the planned rituals with the team. And this is how they get gamblers. A lot of people are like, wow, well, Philadelphia can beat them without Embiid. Now they got the MVP back. They got a good shot again tonight and great value. And then Boston just comes out and cleans their clock. And at the moment, it's up 33 points in Massachusetts, one of 3 states that equals 33 in the most pure cipher. Now they're up 35. But anyway, the value of the knowledge. So go ahead.
Right. Let me I got to get through a couple things. 137 days after the Pope's birthday, and the Pope's birthday is 12/17, the Tigers sweep the Mets in the doubleheader to get to 12-17. Tigers equals 33, New York equals 33, 137 days from the Pope's birthday. But that's 2 upsets right there, and that's why the Tigers won game 2 8-1, because upset equals 81. But
and that means, so if they won both games today, that also means the Tigers got, I think it's 15 wins in the series, but on the 15-date numerology by winning both games.
Yeah. So now it's unbelievable. But today, the Royals get to, today is a span of 113 days until Kobe's upcoming birthday, and Kobe Bryant equals 113. And the Royals came into the game today 1-13 at home, and so they got to 8-23 for the season, upsetting the Orioles. 8-23 for the season. Kobe's birthday, a span of 113 days before his birthday, and Kobe equals 33, the 137 after the Pope. But it's also 137 days until Mahomes' upcoming birthday, who we know is synced up with Kobe Bryant, getting to 11-3 in the postseason in the Super Bowl. So it's just they're begging people to catch on because it just couldn't be more obvious what they're doing. They're just like mocking humanity to the max. They're like, ha, we're doing the most obvious shit and you fucking can't even see it. It's like, but the fucking Orioles also got to 20-10, like 201. And you won't believe the Orioles pitcher tonight, Gibson, it was his 274th game. Oh, what do you know? It's his 274th game, like Jesus Hominum Salvator, 274. And I just can't believe this shit is just undeniable. And people have to start fucking catching on because it's just so obvious.
It is, especially the Illuminati stuff this week, and then the King James Bible publishing anniversary the next day that LeBron's winning on. It's just like, we're just down in LA in front of the Staples Center. You would think that like somebody in the truth community could help share that footage and get it out there that that's being done. I mean, what we're doing is unprecedented. Going to the streets and presenting knowledge and getting people to think about things. There just needs to be way more people doing it, and nobody is talking about the things we've been doing. And that goes back to us being out in the cold and wet right after they declared the pandemic in front of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, raising awareness about Event 201 when pretty much nobody was talking about that. And you just can't get anybody in this truth community to help get this knowledge out. And again, I really think it's time to shut off other channels at this point who aren't really doing anything besides recycling the news and putting their spin on it and saying, hey, subscribe to my extra podcast on Patreon or buy this shirt or this God bless hat. All these people that are just selling a whole bunch of shit and not really exposing anything or teaching anything or helping people break out of the matrix like we're doing. Again, that's lesser information. It's just static. It's interference in the actual pipelines of the truth community that are actually going to do something. So, again, I don't want to tell people to like turn off all their other sources, but realize there's a lot of bad apples in the truth community. And think about what it is to be doing this for a decade and proving our point, and still all these channels that have been around just not covering it at all. And they're still into politics and whatnot. So,
yeah, the knowledge is just absolutely invaluable. That's the only word for it, invaluable. And, just invaluable and undeniable. But, all right, Zach, that's all I got for now. So
all right, appreciate it, man. Thank you. Okay, let's go out to 347. What's up, 347?
Hey, what's up, Zach? You can hear me?
Yeah, what's going on?
All right. During the NFL draft, a coach named Anthony Richardson, his nickname in college and high school was AR-15. And he said that the reason why he's not going by that nickname no more because of all the guns and stuff in America and stuff. And what happened on Saturday?
Saturday was the beginning of the headlines about what happened in Texas the night prior.
And he shot him with an AR-15.
Right. Texas 15. 15's the fifth triangular. Shooting on Friday night. A lot of people associate Friday with the fifth day of the week. Then the manhunt catches him in the fifth month, 5 days later. After 5 killed, and the day they caught him had 5 numerology. Last May, with Uvalde, they did a huge 15 ritual with that shooting in the elementary school.
So it's crazy that he was talking about the gun violence, and that's the reason why he didn't go by that nickname. And then you get the shooting on Friday night going into Saturday morning. I just thought that was crazy. He said that during the draft. And the next thing, I was listening to your sports live stream yesterday, and the guy talked about LeBron got his 40th career playoff series win, and he won 2 more. He had 42 playoff series wins.
Good one. Good catch.
So he got the most playoff series wins out of everybody. So LeBron done broke all these records while he's 38. He passed the scoring thing with Kareem 30 years later. He scored 20 points, 20 rebounds. The oldest person to do that.
Just saying. So here's how big it was yesterday with LeBron's win over Golden State. Same numbers we were just talking about down in LA about Kobe's death at 41 on the Pope's 41st day of his age, and then the Lakers winning the finals on Father-Daughter Day exactly 41 weeks after LeBron's birthday when King equals 41. Last night, LeBron got his 179th playoff win on the real King James Bible publishing date. 179 is the 41st prime. King equals 41 like LA, like Kobe Bryant. Last night, Steph Curry became 4-1 in game ones against LeBron in their playoff history. And also, the Lakers improved to 4-1 versus Golden State for the year. Remember, Golden State also equals 41, and Kobe retired 41 years after his dad was drafted by Golden State. So, again, just a huge 41 ritual last night. The King number that connects to LA, Golden State, Kobe, who died the year that LeBron won it with the Lakers. And then they do it again last night with another huge 41. And the Lakers also got their 25th win versus the Warriors all time in the playoffs. On the date that can be written 2-5 as the Lakers became 5-2 on the date that can also be written 5-2. And in the prior game, the Knicks beat the Heat, and both teams became 5-2. We were torn before the news of Jimmy Butler going out came out because he could have also become 52-52 in the playoffs with a win, but by him being out last night, it set up the 52 thing in favor of the Knicks. So, again, I mean, the patterns are so redundant. I wish I could teleport to LA for the game on May 6th and, again, just be like, what do you know, you guys? Is it another coincidence? Maybe that guy would come by with the Louis Vuitton purse again who told us it was... If you guys didn't see, when we were down in LA, some guy kept screaming out he was a guy, and he had a Louis Vuitton purse and these nut-hugging jeans, and he kept screaming at us that correlation doesn't mean causation. It's like, dude, are you listening to everything we're saying? Kobe's last game, toy helicopter, or maybe we didn't have that yet, but just... on his birthday, Angels Fallen came out the same month that he did the Kobe Bryant After Death shoe was the same month that Comedy Central put out the skit of him dying in a helicopter crash. Again, he did get a toy helicopter for his last game with Kobe. I mean, it's such an obvious script, and the numbers just cement it, and the fact they keep doing the same rituals and tribute to the king in the same types of ways, like when LeBron won the championship for the Cavs, it was on the real King James' birthday. It's just like people should see what we're doing and realize it's undeniable. Anyway, go ahead, man. Sorry.
And one more thing, since you're talking about the Lakers play on Saturday, you got the Kentucky Derby, you got the Lakers playing their home game, and you got the King's coronation early that morning. So all that.
By the way, hey, just something to look into about the Kentucky Derby being the same day. One of the horses in the main event is called King's Barnes, and that jockey... He has other races earlier in the day. His first race of the day is on a horse called King Ottoman. So that horse has longer odds, but I'd encourage everybody to do a little research on that horse. We're going to be talking about it more on Patreon. But yeah, I mean, just Kentucky Derby does equal 56. This year it's on 5-6. Royal Family 56. The last King of England died at age 56 before Queen Elizabeth. So you got to say, is it just symbolic? It doesn't necessarily mean the horse is winning, but I'd do some research on that King's Barnes, especially in light of that jockey's first race of the day being on the horse King Ottoman. And if you want to join us to talk about things more, again, sign up for the Patreon. We'll be doing the Derby tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday before the race on Saturday.
All right. One more thing I wanted to say. What was it? What was it? Hold on, give me a second. It is... since Lamar Jackson has signed his contract now, I think it's going to be Philly and Baltimore in the Super Bowl. If it's not Baltimore, Philly, I'll go with the Giants.
Okay. I got to think about Philadelphia more. It does remind me that Randall Cunningham's child died in a hot tub in Las Vegas right as the Vegas team was becoming a new team. So I know another guy likes Philadelphia too. I haven't really done my my brain work for the NFC this coming year, but yeah, Baltimore's got a lot of 58 rituals piling up. That's for sure.
So, and I'll finally give you your two black quarterbacks.
Okay. Somebody in the chat says there was no Kobe cartoon on The Simpsons. I don't know if they're talking to me or somebody in the chat. If I misspoke, I was saying the Kobe cartoon was on Comedy Central, not The Simpsons. But anyhow.
Yeah, and one more thing. This is the last thing I want to say. The Putin, fake assassination attempt on this date.
There was an assassination attempt on the Pope?
No, Putin.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about that.
Yeah, you know that's a joke. So.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're gonna take one of these cats coming out. Either gonna be Putin, Biden, or Trump. One of these cats going out soon. They're gonna take them off the scene. Don't you see it?
Well, remember at the end of World War II, everybody just conveniently died at the end of World War II, from Hitler to the U.S. president and beyond. They all just happened to die. It's like, oh, perfect. All the guys responsible for the World War, they're just all out of here now. So
they might take Putin out first, then Biden.
Yeah.
Not being that awful. We just don't know when.
We'll see soon enough.
All right, that's it, Dad.
All right, appreciate it, man. By the way, again, Gematria, 4 base ciphers. You learn these 4 ciphers. You see how they reflect in team scores almost every night. Philadelphia 76ers, for example, equals 87. They lose with 87 points tonight. The name of their arena where they play, Philly, is also 87. And then a big number with Philly is 121 because Revelation's 121 and the Church of Philadelphia is named in Revelation. We see that number a lot in Philly sports. But don't forget, the first game of this series was May 1st, the 121st day of the year, the Illuminati's 247th birthday, where again, the 76ers got their 247th playoff win that day. Now today, the Celtics get their 63rd playoff win over the 76ers, 307 days after the coach's birthday, the 63rd prime. But again, you follow the numbers of the score, and 87 also connects to the phrase number of the beast, which is a number they pay tribute to a lot in basketball, like Kobe with his career high in his 666th game and his 666 workout, and Helicopter 666 in Sumerian Gematria. But anyway, again, the value of the base ciphers, and again, you learn the numbers, you see through the rituals, you see the scoring night after night, how often the score at halftime foretells what will happen in the second half. Tight game with the Warriors and the Kings in Game 7. The team that was up had 58 points. Golden State equals 58. Golden State comes back and wins the game. Again, you learn Gematria. You'll be amazed at how often the halftime score, if it points to one of the team's Gematria values, that team wins the vast majority of games. All right, let's go out to 562. What's up, 562? 562? All right. Somebody called in last week making it sound like they were going to sound something crazy secretive to my P.O. box. It might have been that same silent caller. I haven't gotten anything in my P.O. box this week. 214, you're on.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Man, I'm chilling over here. I'm here with my boys. Hey, man, I actually wanted to ask you though, for real though. Like, how do you feel about everything that's going on? Like, what's going on with you, your mentality? Because I know you got a lot of haters. You know, I know you got a lot of people that are against you, but you believe in what you do.
All right, here's what I'll respond. So I don't believe in what I do. Again, if you know me, you don't use "I believe in what I do." We'll be right back, everybody. But I always teach people don't use the word believe.
Wow, man. Easy. For the name, big.
If you ever wore a suit from the store before, that's one thing. But if you ever got a suit tailored, if you ever got a tailored suit before, you know that it's different from going to buy a one-size-fits-all suit and then having a suit that's tailor-made. It fit different. The pants are different. The way you walk in it is totally different. Why? Because it's fit to you. And what I'm telling you is you need to have a tailor-made life. When you were created with a specific purpose, a specific design. You like a tailor-made suit, baby. You gotta stop trying to act like everybody else, speak like everybody else, dress like everybody else, look like everybody else. Stop putting people pictures on the wall and look at them and saying that's what I want to be like. Baby, you're gonna do what they've never done. You're gonna go to places that they've never gone. You're gonna exceed limits that they've never exceeded before. You're gonna be able to accomplish things that they never dreamed about. So I need you to be you.
It's amazing how people have been raving about Aya Life all over Facebook. They've been posting their testimonials just because they want to get the word out because it's worked so well for them. If you're not familiar with Aya Life, it's a 99% pure CBD oil. But the secret is the synergy between the hemp and the ayahuasca vine, the non-psychoactive component of the ayahuasca tea. We recently received an email from a wife whose husband has Parkinson's. For the first time, he's been able to sleep through the entire night. Another customer reported that they're no longer using NSAIDs because their tennis elbow has been relieved with Aya Life. The reports have been phenomenal and much more than we ever expected. Everyone should have access to this. That's why if you head on over to ayalife.com right now and use coupon code TFR, we'll give you $5 towards your order. And we'll even ship it worldwide. That's ayalife.com, AYAlife.com.
Travis Cook, America's Evil Genius, here to invite you to join us every Tuesday afternoon here on Truth Frequency Radio. No, on our show you will not see a bunch of three-piece suits or a cocktail party, and you certainly won't see a bunch of inside the Beltway banter. But you will see eye-gouging, crotch-kicking, no-holds-barred political discussion, the likes of which you won't see anywhere else in media. America's Evil Genius. We come to you every Tuesday from the outskirts of war-torn St. Louis, Missouri, where there's always a good race riot or sex scandal just around the corner. Join us every Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central, at noon on the left coast right here on TFRLive.com. America's Evil Genius, Travis Cook, on TruthFrequencyRadio.com.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
All right, welcome back, True Seeker. Just over the break, again, the caller was just asking questions that, I don't know, seemed trollish to me, and I'll go back to his call and give him some more time, but it's like people who follow me already know the answers to these things, and I don't use the word believe because the word believe has lie in the middle, and you have to believe something. It means you don't really have any evidence. Again, Americans always use the word believe when it doesn't really make sense, and again, it is a society of believers, not really a society of thinkers, but I don't believe in my work. I prove my work every single day. And just to add on to the Ray Charles thing, we were talking about how, again, Jamie Foxx does the movie Soul about a pianist where he played Ray Charles, only for him to have this accident that's hospitalized him and made it sound like he's on the verge of passing, only to have the accident 201 days from the anniversary of Ray Charles' birth, and also 201 days upcoming from the anniversary of the release of the film Ray. 201 both ways, when we're educating about that number and how this Jesuit Illuminati network uses this day after day in their rituals, as we just nail another big upset in the NBA, understanding how scripted all is. We're not having to believe in this. We're proving our point with facts and evidence. So if you're calling in and asking me suspect questions that I've answered a million times just looking like Badish, you got all these haters, man. I have a bunch of fucking losers that are jealous who are morons. Again, it's just like, if you have a group of students, some are smarter than others. I'm showing something that's undeniable each day and encouraging people to use a little bit of thinking with the knowledge I present in sports, if you have a brain, it's pretty clear which games to go with. Some people just flourish with the information. They don't need me to come in and tie their shoes the rest of the way. And then you have a group of morons who are like, I signed up for it and I didn't even know how to use the information. Well, that's because you're a retard. That's why you're a special Olympian. Okay? So that is who my haters are. People who are like special Olympians. They believe in shit. They don't care about facts and evidence and proof and hard work and determination. They're fucking losers with shit values who are waiting for imaginary fairy tales to come out of the sky and wipe their ass for them. That's who my haters are. So, again, where am I right now? Super frustrated because for all of my adult life, I've lived in a society of fucking morons who believe in total bullshit and do believe in bullshit, which is so frustrating because it's obvious bullshit. Like a man in a cave took down towers in New York and then more bullshit on top of bullshit that people just keep believing. We're not believing over here. We're going, I don't believe in that because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Oh, here's some proof of what they're actually doing because I know it's number rituals and all these. So, again, that should answer the question about as sincerely as I can possibly answer it. But also, where are you at right now? Are you cool with living in a society of fucking retards that are marching us all to the cliff who are still wearing their slave muzzles in 2023? Ready for the next booster? I mean, where are you at right now? Here, let's go back and see where he's at. Where's he at right now? Okay. Where are you at right now?
I'm listening to you, bro. I'm packing the bowl listening to you, bro. And at the same time.
All right, so where are you right now?
I'm in Texas.
Oh my God.
Okay, can you hear me?
That's not what I mean. Where are you right now? You asked me where I am right now with everything going on in the world. I'm asking you where you're at. I just answered the question.
My mentality is definitely not on the norm, but that is why I tune into your channel so that I can, learn, be educated, perhaps grow.
Again, I don't want to put down weed because I like weed and I've smoked it for most of my adult life, but I think a lot of people for weed, like they're too high, so they're always missing the point. And then they're like disconnected from reality because they're in the clouds. So.
Hey, listen, man, I'm not on enough white to fucking get degraded by you, bro. I called you in order to fucking challenge you. In order to challenge your form of thinking. Because there's a reason why your channel has been declining. There's a reason why people just don't listen to you anymore. They just don't.
Such as who? Who's not listening to me? There's a reason that I'm censored and deleted all the time because my message is very dangerous, and if I wasn't censored and buried in an algorithm, a lot more people would be finding the work.
It's not about the censorship, and it's not about the algorithm, dog. It's about, hey, look, man, you're talking to somebody who has.
How can you say it's not about the censorship and the algorithm when that's totally working against us all the time? I mean, people's comments are being deleted, likes, unsubscribe. That's not having an impact?
That actually supports you.
Okay. Anyway, you guys, that guy is a troll. If your argument is it doesn't have anything to do with all the censorship, you're making a false fucking argument. Roll up another blunt and continue to live in the clouds in false reality. Censorship's having a major fucking impact. God, if my shit was allowed to flourish each day like it did when Bush died, it'd be a way different story over here. And again, when every day I'm getting comments like, Zach, I can't sign up to Patreon anymore. Zach, I was trying to give a super chat. It wouldn't let it send. Again, the electronic world is theirs. They have all kinds of ways to tamper. But yeah, I'm sure there is another side to the equation that I'm scaring some people off because of the way I rant, the things I say. You know what? So be it. If people can't understand my anger and frustration and where I'm coming from, they're not really fucking awake. They're just kind of just in it like, oh, that's some cool information. Now let me go back to smoking a blunt and playing NBA 2K. Again, that's not who I'm after. I'm after people who realize things are fucked up and they actually want to do something about it. So, anyway. Let's go out to 702. This might be Jeff Young. Is it Jeff Young?
What you doing, my man?
How you doing, Jeff?
Not having a good moment. The last caller is a dork, right?
It's just, yeah, I hate bullshit callers.
Let me take you off speaker. Is that better?
Yeah, you were good either way.
Better. All right, then. I'm like holding the phone up to my ear. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing all right, man. I mean, I'm frustrated, but I'm doing all right, so.
Well, I was just waxing philosophical today with someone about, I was telling them the story, and I don't know how much you highlighted on the show, so I'll take the opportunity to relive the moment. Anyone who hasn't seen the night we were out on Hollywood Boulevard, the Jeff Young Scorsese production there with Zach.
Indeed.
Zach Spittin' Truth. He was, we were kind of right next to Mann's Chinese Theater, where all the quote unquote stars put their handprints. But again, there was a girl filming it at first. I forget her name. But when I took the camera, and I think it was a cool moment because, you know, I call in Zach's always like the celebrity, you know, our celebrity truth speaker. But for that night in Hollywood, on that night, you were the star, man. And I wanted to, you know, highlight that. So I was on the ground filming Zach, and I had the Jimmy Kimmel Theater. You know, you can kind of tell once I take the camera, like beautifully framed behind him, which is the oldest Masonic theater in Hollywood, right? Is that true?
I think that is true.
Where the artists, the musicians perform on a checkerboard floor stage.
Right.
We got a lot of good, there's one scene where you're speaking. First, he set the PA up kind of right next to the street. We were right next to the Hard Rock Cafe and like the restaurant, and pretty much right in front of the Kodak Theater, which some event was happening because some people that looked to be in their 70s and above in tuxes and elegant dresses even stopped to listen for, you know, upwards of a half hour longer. Remember that couple?
Indeed.
But there was one moment, I don't think you caught it, but some guy on a motorcycle right behind you just popped a wheelie and rode, and I panned him with the camera as you're talking about something. But as the evening wore on, and it was a strange, let's bring this to, like, because how long have we known each other? Has it been, like, is it 8 or 9 years?
We did our first show at the end of 2015, and then Prince's death at the beginning. Vanity and Prince's death really connected us at the beginning of 2016.
Right, and we'd never had the chance to meet. You know, we talked about it. I wanted to go to New York. I wanted to go to other things, but things just didn't line up. So we haven't had a chance to meet. So our friendship's been either on the phone, you know, Skype, or through what we're doing right now. Until, of all days that we could meet, in the history of days that we could meet, what day did we meet?
On the Prince death anniversary.
Isn't that a trip?
It is weird.
How the world works.
It is, and just the fact that you were filming, and then somehow a white dove flies in over us while we're talking about Prince and just lands above us and stays there for a little.
I was setting that up.
Oh, sorry.
I was setting that up.
Sorry.
It was. I mean, it was so magical how that happened, man. I mean, we meet on that day, and what happened was, spoiler alert, but it started getting super windy. Like, you know, I've been in Hollywood 25 plus years on and off. I never saw such a sudden gust, right? It's like the Wizard of Oz. Suddenly here comes the, you know, and it was at that time when you kind of needed to take a break, and DK took over, right?
Sure.
And he wasn't holding his PA tripod.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The speaker blew over.
The wind took it, and your speaker blew over and just hit the ground.
The second time in the day. It had a rough day that day. It hit the but hey, that speaker, the review said it's rock solid and can take very hard falls. It took two very hard falls that day, and it was working just fine. So
did it scuff it up at all?
Oh yeah, it's all scuffed up at the bottom. Yeah, it would have been worse if it didn't have that cover on it.
So anyway, so DK falls, he feels probably felt bad about that, and we're all rushed over to try to pick the PA up. And so he's holding it, and he keeps talking, and he's holding it, and you talked a little longer, and you're holding it, and it's just getting so windy, we're just like, So there's this black wall. It was the right-hand wall of the Hard Rock Cafe, and we moved the PA over, so now Zach's in front of this black wall, right? And there's this ledge. I mean, he's kind of, the PA's next to him. He's right up against the wall, and I'm down on the ground filming him, right? Filming up, right? And there's this ledge above him, it's 7 feet, 8 feet above your head, just like it looked like an awning, right? And none of us, we weren't even paying attention to that thing. And of all the things, I mean, you hit through so many topics on that evening, right? Because you were, like I said, you were the star and you were on a roll, right? That night, you were just spitting. People were walking by going, that dude be spitting. But he started, of all the things, the moment that the wind took that, and think of the weather and how weird it got, and just out of the blue, like unnatural. Right? It wasn't like that when we came out of the rainbow, was it? Right? Or even when we went in, it just was like for that little time being, like there was some kind of energy. We moved you over, you're standing there, I'm on the ground filming you. And right as you start talking about Prince, I don't know how far you were even into it. And there was no other birds floating around on Hollywood Boulevard that evening. You don't see birds, and especially doves, usually at night, right? Floating around low in a city. Right over my head and right over Zach's head, I don't even know if you were aware of it as it was happening. This white dove just landed right over your head on that awning. And the thing just sat there, and we were all looking at each other, and everyone who knew you're in my history, and everyone, you're talking about Prince, and anyone who knows anything about Prince and, when doves cry, everyone's mouth is on the ground at that moment. It was one of the most magical, surreal, just like, that's when you feel the organic side of everything, beyond just gematria, just how magic the universe is when you allow for it, right?
Indeed. For people who are on the YouTube, I'm about to show the part where the dove just flies right in while we're talking about Prince.
Killer. Let me look. I got it muted, but I want to see too. I haven't watched it since that night.
Yeah, I remember.
It's just what are the chances, people in caller land? Zach and I, we come together through all the stuff that we discovered, and most callers don't even know the extent of all the stuff we uncovered, but it's all there in that episode archives on Music Without Boundaries, and as well as on the photo album on Music Without Boundaries and Facebook. We got all the slides, all the stuff that we uncovered, from Vanity born in Niagara Falls. Prince dies on Prince is the black sect of Freemasonry, where he took his name to begin with. Dies on the Queen of England's birthday. He just happened to launch a beer in the UK called Purple Rain, REIGN, wink, wink. Prince's mom dies on the same day as Vanity. How many years apart was it? I always mix that up. It's some years apart. Prince's dad, same day as Aaliyah, same year, same day. All this stuff, right? And so we meet on Prince's death date, the day Zach predicted on my show, right? And then that dove flies and lands over his head. What a trip.
Yeah, it's just, and it's crazy. Whenever we have these get-togethers, the weirdest synchronicities happen. Like you said, it shows how magical this place is. Like when you put, I guess it can be good or bad, but I mean, we're out there with good intentions to share information, and it's just something like that happens. It's like, how do you even explain it? And for the record, Prince's mother died February 15th, 2002. And then 14 years later, Vanity died on the same day. 14 years later, we know how dead equals 14, kind of like the headline in Atlanta today, 1 dead, 4 injured. But 14 years apart, deaths on the same day, his girlfriend from the time of Purple Rain, and his mother. What are the odds? On the 46th day of the year, going with the whole Genesis 46 sacrifice thing.
And what year was Prince's dad? Was that 2001 in Aaliyah?
I think that's right. Yeah.
I'm pulling up that album. If you go on Music Without Boundaries, Facebook people, give it a like. We're getting ready to come back on the air. If I can figure out how the software's changed since the last time when we went on hiatus, it's all different now. But you can go in the photo. It's called Rest in Peace, Vanity and Prince's Death, predicted live on this show. And right there is the archive to the episode, and every slide I put it because I sure didn't want you to miss this show because Google did. They took it off. Remember, you did it on your YouTube, and then you came on my show a couple days later. Yeah, August 25th, 2001, Prince's dad. Then August 25th, 2001, that mysterious plane crash. Karen Singer and her video crew crashed and burst into flames shortly after takeoff from Abaco Island in the Bahamas. They had just completed work on a video. Plane headed for Miami.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, all that stuff that brought us, really, because before the Prince thing, I didn't even have your phone number, but after that, we got a lot closer, but still never met face to face until that day, 67 days after Zach was on my show, telling Prince to watch his back. We meet. We're sitting there on Hollywood Boulevard of all places with all that energy, and here comes this dove. It was a trip. Did you show it on the YouTube?
I did, indeed.
Cool. Yeah, that's a great one. Watch that one, people. That's Zach spits a lot of truth, and it's framed in the sights behind him, the things that are going on around him. I pan the crowd, and you see how many people are listening. And for Hollywood, when people are there to be distracted and worry about entertainment and movies and frivolous stuff, for Zach to hold a crowd as long as he did, as how many people, and most of them weren't in our tribe or the troop of us that, watch this channel regularly. There were some, and there was even some people who just started watching it and showed up.
Yeah.
Like that one chick was weird who knew that other YouTuber that came to the Rainbow with us. She was kind of weird.
Sure.
Anomaly, what was that? What's that channel? She knew that dude?
Yeah, she mentioned that she got to hang out with Anomaly one day.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all I just wanted to mention all that synchronicity, and for me, that's kind of the universe showing we're all on the right path.
Indeed.
When things like that happen, it's like, when negative stuff happens and stuff that seems to impede your progress, right? You're probably not on the right path, but when you see something like that, it's kind of makes you glad to be alive and realize, okay, cool. It's frustrating sometimes, and you were frustrated right before I called, so I think I came at the right time. Hope you feel a little better.
Indeed, I do. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate your perspective and reminding about the very nice moment not that long ago. And again, we will be back down to LA for August 24th. And it is nice to get out and connect with people. It feels a lot better than being online. So I hope a lot of people come out for August 24th. And again, we turn more heads.
But dude, I got to tell you, people, Zach was a rock star in Hollywood that night. Because I took him to the Rainbow. And you can see Zach, obviously, he likes guitar, he likes music, but he's obviously a clean-cut, wholesome young man. And I don't think he was prepared for the Rainbow. And
what was wrong with the Rainbow?
Called ahead. Huh?
No, there was nothing wrong with the Rainbow.
No. It was killer. We had an awesome time, but he got the treatment. I was just leading up to the fact that we walked in, and I got to tell you, Zach, that was another thing about that night that was magic. I've been going to the Rainbow since I moved out to LA to go to GIT like in '84, right?
Okay.
And I never got the treatment like I got that night. So that was another really positive, cool thing. And I don't know, that one guy who kind of we had a reserved table set. I'd never had that happen because they don't take reservations, right? And I've tried before. They're like, we don't take reservations. So, but I called just to see if they were still open because it was kind of late when we were heading up there. And they were still open. I said who I was, Kings of Thrash, maybe that, blah, blah, blah. And so when we got there, man, we got the red carpet treatment, didn't we?
Indeed,
we're
indeed.
Ordering,
I see. Jeff's telling us that was
man, the Rainbow Foods Killer.
It was. Everything went Jeff's way that night. You know, everything went Jeff's way. It was amazing how much aligned for Jeff that night. And Jeff keeps telling us that was a rare night for him. But a part of me was like, was that a rare night, or is that just the way things go for Jeff Young? So.
Well, I mean, stuff's going good. We're on a good roll with the band, and I'm getting ready to go here on the 14th, Arizona. We're recording the album, the original stuff. I'm sitting here practicing our new Kings of Thrash originals, listening to TFR live right now. And but Zach was the total rock star at the Rainbow, right? And the guy coming up, and they really treated us great, and we had great food and a great time, and it was cool to have him there. And a lot of people who watch this channel probably seen the movie American Satan. In that scene with Malcolm McDowell, who I just recently met at the Days of the Dead convention we played, he does the deal, you know, the band, the rock band that's trying to make it, does the deal with him in that back booth there. And so Zach got to even go upstairs there's a little room way upstairs with like the Beatles and the Doors and Zeppelin and all the people hung out. It's like teeny. You can probably only fit maybe 8 people up in that little teeny room. But we had a great night, and that's what's going to be in store for you folks. If you can make it out to LA, I'll definitely be there. And we're going to have to top it sometime. I don't know if we're going to be able to get another dove to fly overhead, but I'm sure some magical stuff will happen.
Indeed. It always does, and it just makes you wonder what's going to happen next. But yeah, the bird thing was really cool. And if the clip didn't play right earlier, I'm playing it again right now, and I'm pretty sure it's working this time. So.
And before I let you go, I gotta lodge a listener complaint to the personnel, the higher ups at TFR.
Yeah.
Dudes, those rap things, Chris Gio, whoever's making those Trump rap things that you've been forcing down our ears the past months and months and months. Dude, it's so lame. It's so horrible, man. It's just horrid.
Okay. I'm glad you said it.
Remember the channel before that? The channel before that stuff happened it wasn't annoying when you weren't talking. Like, I just dread it every time it goes to commercial break with that shit. So I'm just throwing that out there, man, for what it's worth.
Here it comes again. It could just be seconds away, unfortunately, but yeah, I agree.
The horror.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Dude, I got to tell you a funny thing. Are we going to commercial? Do I got time for a funny
20
story?
seconds. 20 seconds.
Oh man, I won't get it out. I'll tell you next time.
Okay. All right.
See you guys later.
All right. Appreciate it, Jeff. Have a good night, man. Thank you. Ciao. Again, yeah, I'd like to go on a guest. I'd like to go on as a guest on every other TFR show and talk to all these hosts who are all about Trump. This whole station's Trump mania. I'm the only one who's not on the Trump wagon on this whole network as far as I know. So, amazing. Amazing. All right, but yeah, shout out to Jeff Young. Again, Jeff Young's radio show, it's kind of on pause right now while he's doing all of his work with the band, but he's got lots of great episodes. Jeff Young, Music Without Boundaries, February 18th, 2016, our Prince episode.
Hi, my name is Ella, and I'm 10 years old. I'm one of the millions of children born to parents suffering from the sheeple virus. Symptoms include the inability to think for oneself, the attention span of a goldfish, and a strong belief in government and the mainstream media. It is estimated that 1 out of every 2 children are being raised by parents infected with the sheeple virus. But there is a cure. For as little as 19 cents per day, you can become a TFR supporter and help children like me get their daily dose of truth. Together, we will make sure every child has protection from deception.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord. COVID-19, 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 COVID-19. I blew the wind of God from the state of Washington to the state of Maine to Brownsville, Texas, and the tip of Florida. We speak to this atmosphere today. Burn this thing. This virus hates heat. You just burn this thing. Burn, burn. I call for a supernatural heat wave straight out of hell. Burn, burn. COVID-19. 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 I blew the wind of God. You don't do it. You get out of here now. Burn. You don't do it. You get out of here. Burn this thing. COVID-19. 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 I blew the wind of God. You are destroyed forever, and you'll never be back.
What the fuck, bro?
You are now tuned into the truth frequency.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Condition orange. Condition orange. Situation Delta in effect. Please enter your agent number now, followed by the hash key.
You have to create culture. Don't watch TV. Don't read magazines. Don't even listen to NPR.
Time comes when silence is betrayal.
More for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them.
Think for yourself. Question authority.
This code has been compromised.
Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Just a heads up, in recent weeks, I have lost a lot of old TFR episodes on YouTube. They've been given strikes for medical misinformation. Titles like CNN says you are either vaccinated or infected. In that episode, I offered my opinion about, why I felt comfortable being unvaccinated in light of the survivability of the illness and just making sure I got enough rest and eating well. me stating my own opinion about what I thought about my own health, which has turned out to be true, is now taken down for medical misinformation over a year after the broadcast. Another video about overweight people in masks who are worried about their health in the summer. Again, video that's been up for a year, taken down. FDA approves Pfizer vaccine 66 days before Bill Gates' 66th birthday. It was about the significance of the number 66 and the Gematria vaccination. That's just a simple observation and a pattern that repeated many times. How are these videos taken down for medical misinformation? Again, that shows that there are certain people in the world who do not want this information out there, and they're worried that these videos are hanging around and impacting too many people. So then they get taken down for medical misinformation or dangerous conspiracy theories. It's like, really? To show that the significance of 66 in Gematria and why it was approved 66 days before his 66th birthday? Also taken down. TFR Live, Bill de Blasio's vaccine mandate 111 weeks after becoming mayor. The big New York number, 111. Just had a caller earlier talking about Randall Cobb signing with New York 111 days from his birthday, joining Aaron Rodgers in the New York ritual. But again, it was also on the 201st day of the Jesuit Nation year. Again, why is that misinformation to point out those patterns? I don't understand how it's misinformation. It's all factual, it's all real, and it allows people to come to their own conclusions. How's it medical misinformation? I'm not giving any medical advice. So anyway, just to let you know, they're taking down a lot of old TFR episodes, and again, it goes to show that this broadcast, lots of information that the authorities find dangerous to their agendas. All right, let's go out to 512. What's up, 512? 512?
Hey.
Hello?
I'm here.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
Yeah, it's, freedom of speech. Your opinion can be deleted because it's the truth. 10 planks to the Communist Manifesto. Last two that they're going after are freedom of speech and our guns, and that's why all these shootings are happening, and the goddamn rotten Pentagon, the goddamn rotten CIA motherfucking A, the goddamn rotten FBI motherfucking I, the goddamn motherfuckers that run this goddamn fucked up goddamn country are getting away with all this bullshit, and they will continue to get away with it.
Hey, speaking of more bullshit, listen, hold on. I gotta ask you this. Here's more bullshit in the headlines tonight. A man was choked to death by police, and the man who choked to death after being put in a chokehold, his name is Neely. Neely. After the George Floyd kneeling thing? I mean, come on.
Sure. And Floyd died of fentanyl or whatever, he had drugs. He had a heart attack. Boy, I
look at this. Look at this. This is the news on the 123rd day of the year. Jordan Neely equals 123 like conspiracy. I mean, come on.
The numbers prove it. It's all freaky. This number shit freaks me out like I'm in the Matrix. I feel like I'm in a goddamn fucking computer matrix.
Well, when's Alex Jones going to talk about it with his audience?
You know what? He ain't got the balls. You're the people that listen to you and that follow you, they don't need to goddamn leave goddamn Joe motherfucking Rogan a goddamn message and see if he's got the fucking balls to put you on.
Indeed.
Fucking Joe Rogan. That's all I mean, yeah, the people that follow you, believe in you, and know you, that's what's got to happen. That's the only thing I see happening for you, because Alex Jones is a dickhead. Okay, I listen to him because he's got information that I like to get. Okay, and I don't believe in everything Alex says. I can't stand Donald Trump. Right when Donald Trump said Operation Warp Speed, I said, fuck you, Donald Trump. And the more I find out about Trump, like giving money to Bill motherfucking the devil, the fucking goddamn Gates. What? You kidding me?
They're all
Bill
in the club.
Gates. Motherfucking Bill Gates, I'd like to squash him like a cockroach.
Yeah, I know, man. A lot of people would. So
I wish I had $1 billion, and oh boy, you know what? Where's our gazillionaire that can fight back? Where's that? They got all these pieces of shit, multi-millionaire old pieces of shit excrement, motherfucks that are attacking us, that rule the world. And where's our guys? Where the fuck's our guys?
I agree. Where are they?
I'd be throwing these motherfucker in wood chippers.
Well, come out for August 24th, LA. We got to wake up that whole city. We need every voice possible.
I wish I could, brother. I wish I could.
All right. Well, I got to come down to Austin too eventually. So, I guess there.
You come to Austin, I'll definitely get out of my way and come and see you.
Okay.
I'd love to meet you.
Okay, that's got to happen.
Cool. I love that call, the last call about the dove and Prince. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just so crazy how that happened. So
I love it. That's synchronicity. That's that's good stuff. That gave me a little chill. Made me feel good.
Well, that's good. That's good. Yeah. All right, friend. Well, I appreciate the call as always, and I'll have to expedite that trip down to Austin. Maybe we can get your buddy Alex to come out and help us.
Goddamn motherfucker! Right. I'm gonna keep leaving messages. I'm gonna get on him about this. I've been bitching him out. And I know he listens to me. He's got a line where you can call in and leave messages, and every time I get on there and I get on a roll, and you got 60 seconds. No, he lets me go for 2 hours. Jesus Christ!
Right.
And then I hear him. Oh, that's my line I just said, and he's using it. So I know goddamn well he's listening to me. And I know goddamn motherfucking well, yeah. I tell him every time I say, hey, say hi to your dad. Gordy says hi.
Okay. Well, I hope we can get him when we come down there. We need everybody to help us get out the word on this. Way too much time has passed. If people catch on to this, they see through the propaganda each day. They're not deceived by the Donald Trumps or any of these stooges for that matter. So.
Exactly, and you would think fucking Jones and Rogan would want to be part of this.
You would think.
You would think. So I'll keep hounding them. I'm going to leave more messages. I'm going to start cussing them out too.
Well, I appreciate it.
He'll listen. He'll listen to me. I'll get through to that son of a bitch.
Indeed. Indeed. All right, friend. Well, I really appreciate the call.
All right, man.
All right. You have a good night. Yeah, good talking indeed. Take care, man. So check out this observation from the chat. Shout out to Matthew, first of all, for the super chat, but then also great information. Jamie Foxx's stroke was on 4/12. Yesterday, the King James Bible turned 412 years old. Again, he did the movie Soul, which has to do with the afterlife, which is, it's spiritual, but of course it's also biblical. King James' son was King Charles. His coronation's on 5/6. The 56, his character name. The ritual with his daughter finding him. Are we going to hear more about Jamie Foxx on 5/6? Are they going to do this again? But yeah, what a great observation about 4/12 and the Bible turning 4/12. Very good. And yeah, I mean, shout out to Gematria32 in the chat. He said, looking at the New York subway choking today. Jordan Neely. The Knicks are in the playoffs. Jordan in the Garden. Jordan Neely. George Floyd kneeled on 3 years ago in May. Jordan Neely equals 123 the big way, 51 the small way. The news on the 123rd day of the year on a day with 51 numerology. That's just like in Atlanta. With Jamie Foxx. The daughter's named 123. She's speaking about her dad today. 51 date numerology. Fulton County, 51, where Atlanta is, where you got the mass shooting, which equals 51. Just again, the same number patterns on the same news or the same news cycle. The numbers fit day after day. News and sports, same rituals, day after day. So, very good, Matthew. Thank you. Awesome observation. Let's see. Let's go out to Philadelphia. Philadelphia, then Virginia. I should have actually went to Virginia there. I'm coming back to you next, Virginia, but you're on Philadelphia. Philadelphia. I think Philadelphia's just listening tonight. Let's go out to 804 Virginia.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, Zach. Hey, I called you about a year ago. I think I was trying to get you to check out Whitney Webb about something. But hey, I found some more stuff just surfing around, and this has to do with the King James Bible. There's a guy that has a YouTube channel that I was checking out about the same time that I was checking you out a couple of years ago. But I didn't understand any of the gematria, and I was just recovering from an accident, so I had a little bit of a brain thing going on. But anyway, this guy found in the works of Shakespeare, in the sonnets, he found Planck's constant and a whole new way of doing math, right? And so anyway, he's found since then that John Dee in the Enochian tables, which is where your gematria comes from, is John Dee and the Rosicrucians and the De Vere. It goes into all kinds of crazy shit, right? Well, he deciphered the King James Bible because Shakespeare apparently had something to do with that as well, which pointed to where the Ark of the Covenant was, which just was seized probably when they killed a bunch of people, about 800 people. They massacred them about the same time COVID was happening, and that was in Ethiopia.
Okay.
But the whole thing with what this guy is uncovered, and I think that he got the COVID too, and he's been knocked out for a while. I hadn't heard from him. I haven't been able to use a computer for a while. I'm getting a computer, but I plan on trying to send some people some emails to try to connect some people together. But I thought the research that he did on the King James ciphers, because there are ciphers, they're fascinating as hell. If you get time, you should look through them. They're discovering all kinds of, and you like math and all of that stuff, it's right up your alley, especially with the ciphers and all this stuff. John D. 007, it's a bunch of crazy stuff. Anyway.
What you're saying is really important to me, because one of the biggest things, I'm not the most organized person, but in my early days of my research, somebody gave me a bunch of printouts of Francis Bacon related ciphers. Again, he's connected to John Dee. Some people think Francis Bacon is William Shakespeare and one of the main editors of the King James Bible, which is probably all true. I wrote about this.
And then you got De Vere, and they're all the illegitimate sons of the Queen. She was raped when she was 14 years old. There's all kinds of crazy shit. Has to do with the Ark of the Covenant, and there was just a bunch of people massacred like 2 years ago. You should just, it's called Bard Code, and it's on YouTube still. They haven't taken it down yet. It's called Bard Code, and His name is Alan Green. He's fascinating as hell. I mean, this guy's mind is amazing. So when he was looking at the Shakespeare sonnets, he figured out that they had Planck's constant on there. They had there's so much shit on just the front of the sonnet cover, and it all has to do with the Gutenberg press. And then you got John Dee. They're all involved in it. So it says to make you a cipher of these things that you need to. John Dee was given the Enochian code through one of his apprentices, right? And they came to him in a dream, and they told him all of the codes that dealt with the sun, the moon, the stars, everything that we deal with in Gematria. Told him how to take these things, and so when they set up the printing press, he takes all the numbers, letters, and characters, and adds them up, right? So on the front of the cover, they add up to 201. 201 it has to do with how many it takes to get to the top of the Great Pyramid minus the capstone. It's all kinds of fascinating shit. You're gonna love it, and I think it'll help your research, man. I really do.
For people who don't know,
I hope the guy's okay.
For people who don't know, there's 201 remaining layers of stone on the Great Pyramid of Giza, which equals 201, which is another symbol of the Illuminati, Order of Illuminati 201. I appreciate this.
Exactly.
Because this code you're talking about, somebody gave me some really good information. It was probably back in like 2015, and I lost it.
Yeah, this guy is a mathematician with a brain. He's a Shakespearean actor. I don't know who exactly he is, but he is captivating. He's awesome. I love to hear him speak. His videos take 2 to 3 hours to watch. One video, but you'll like him. I think. You know what I mean?
I'm definitely gonna check him out.
And I've been recovering, and this is what I do. I work in the garden, and I listen to you, and I take the truth where I can get it. But I know that he can help you out, and I think he's still alive. And so he was working with another guy here. You're scrolling down here. It's the King James ciphers. This guy right here, the guy holding up the globe. Right here, just scroll down a little bit.
You're on a delay, but I went down to it. I know what you're talking about. It's there now.
Yeah. So that guy is very interesting. I'm not so sure that they're working with quantum packing, so what the research that Alan did led this guy to a whole new avenue. Like we've been. We do the math thing is hard for me because I'm recovering. So what's the way we do our geometry? It's like we do it on a 10 table, right?
Okay.
Everything's on 10.
You're right.
Okay. Well, the way that when he deciphered it, they're not going to do it on 10s anymore. It's changing geometry. It's changing the way that they're doing the quantum stacking, and it's changed a lot of stuff. Anyway, the whole thing's fascinating. I don't know what else to say about it.
All right. Well, I really appreciate it. I am going to check it out.
Yeah, because the codes that he's dealing with is the beginning of what you're doing. It's what everybody based all their stuff. All Francis Bacon, he came along after Dee. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the weird thing, Zach, is when I was discovering this guy, this was like a year ago, and we had to move since then, and all kinds of shit has happened. But I thought to myself, and I was clearing out a tree in my yard, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if you could get a sign from the heavens? Like, wouldn't it be cool if you could talk to somebody like a John Dee? Right? And where I was digging out around this old tree, there was a little gleaming white piece of paper, and I reached down and I grabbed it, and it was DEE, and it was it said D on it.
Yeah, what are the odds?
Capital DEE, and it was like part of a plant thing that's, some roses or some crap. I don't know what it was.
Sure. Yeah.
But all it said was D, and I just remember the sun came out, and then when I saw your little video there, and y'all were talking about the King James Bible and it being the anniversary, and it sparked, my memory, because my memory's, I'm working on it, brother.
Indeed. Yeah.
Anyway, I think you'll, see, this is the first time 5 days ago, the Holy Grail of Geometry. That was amazing. Okay. Just awesome. But that's the first time this guy's put anything out. So when he discovered the stuff with the Bible, the King James Bible, so they misspell shit, right, on purpose, and they move stuff over, they delete stuff on one line and add stuff over here to make the numbers all come up right with the letters, characters, and all the stuff.
Right. That's what we've been talking about.
So, yeah, you should check out the whole Bible code thing. It's going to blow your mind.
All right, I really appreciate it.
Anyway,
I'm going to do just that. Thank you.
Night.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Take care.
Okay. Bye.
I'd recommend everybody check out this channel, even without watching it so far, because he's talking about things that I know are important. There are other ciphers out there, and I was starting to look into some of these Francis Bacon, John Dee ciphers years ago, and like I said, I lost the information that was given to me. And again, there's always enough to stay busy with, but yeah, there's some pieces of information out there that could really help us out, and perhaps this gentleman has them on his channel. So I'm going to go back and do some hunting myself. All right, the young one called back in. What's up, 772?
Hey, Zach, what's up? So I guess I'll start off with being on topic. So the article that you wrote, I also appreciated that you put inside the chat what the topic was going to be. I don't know, I'm probably going to be the only person that this applies to, but maybe if you keep doing that, more people will call in on topic. Yeah, I appreciated that. I was able to research before the show. So the FDA approved the first RSV vaccine for 60 plus you were talking about.
Right.
And I noticed that the number 41 came up because that shooting that happened on the same day that was also in the headlines. It was one dead and 4 wounded, so like 14, like 41. And I noticed that that vaccine is called, if you spell it out, it's called respiratory syncytial virus infection, so the RSV. And that's 179 in the most pure cipher, and that's 179 is the 41st prime. And I noticed that there's that 14, 1 dead, 4 injured, and I noticed that was related. But so anyways, that's what was on topic. Also, what Jeff Young said. Jeff Young was talking about that thing that happened with the white dove. You know what happened to me that was really weird? Last TFR, you were talking about DK finding the $100 bill on the floor and giving it to Jeff Young, and you said like, oh, it's always a nice thing to find a $100 bill on the floor. So I didn't watch TFR that night. I had watched it the next day, and as I was watching it the next day, and you were talking about finding the $100 bill, my girlfriend texted me, like right at the second. My girlfriend texted me that her dad just found a $100 bill on the floor.
Life is strange.
Where they were.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Weird. That is weird.
And I've noticed that like that stuff happens like all the time. Like it always seems like that happens to me a lot, and it never has to do with Gematria. Like it just happens. I don't know if it's connected to Gematria. I think that maybe it's just something that happens naturally.
Hold on, we got a commercial. We'll be right back, everybody.
In your life right now, think about this. There's something that you want to do. There is something that you, I told you something, man, 2 years ago I should have started it. Yeah, yesterday I should have started it. And tomorrow I'm going to start. But you're afraid. You're doubting yourself. Every minute you get, think about it. You have the ability to do it. Just say you can. Understand that there are people in your lives that are waiting on you to flourish, waiting on you to accomplish, waiting on you to go to the next level, waiting on you to achieve all of your dreams, to succeed in a way that you have imagined yourself achieving for so long. Understand that. And then tell yourself that you can do it. Tell yourself that you can do it.
Extendovite is more than just a heart tonic. Do you have any of these symptoms? Night cramps in the hands and feet. Your arms and legs often go to sleep. On short walks, do your legs get aches and pains? Is your memory worse than it used to be? Ankles that swell late in the day? Has your blood pressure increased lately? If you answered yes to even one of these questions, you may have early warning signs of arterial blockages. Your body is saying that it is time to take Extendovite. These are not the normal signs of aging. They are the warning signs that accompany blocked arteries. Get your Extendovite today. Extendovite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
For 5,000 years, the world was ruled with wooden ships by one man. 242 years ago, a small group of free men crafted a new nation built on liberty and freedom. Global elites have been fighting to destroy this new nation called America ever since. Based on actual events, Charm of Favor tells a true story of how they corrupted the election system. They infiltrated federal agencies and murdered witnesses, judges, and even presidents to keep from being caught. Now, the largest and wealthiest crime syndicate the world has ever known has been drawn out of the shadows. They have killed hundreds of Americans and recently attempted to assassinate half our congressmen. Still, they escape arrest through an almost supernatural charm of favor. Read Charm of Favor and be prepared to open your eyes to what may lie just around the corner. Charm of Favor is available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
We are TFR.
My faith in destiny is all I need to prevail.
Truth Frequency Radio.
All right, we're back, True Seeker. The chat asked over the break, what's up with the Kremlin attack? The U.S. is saying it's a false flag. Notice that in Gematria, Kremlin equals 37 and 44 like Wednesday. Military equals 44 and 107 like Kremlin. 107 goes with Putin's birthday being on 10/7. It's also Wednesday, named after Mercury, the trickster. Mercury equals 103. It reminds that Bin Laden's birthday is 10/3, and before Bin Laden, there was Pan Am 103, the terrorist attack. Again, Rambo, who's been missing in action, but who's done a lot of good work on Mercury and 103. And false flags, I think that also ties in with this news coming on a Wednesday. Keep in mind, false flag has that Gematria 33. It's 137 days after the Pope's birthday, the 33rd prime. We've been talking about the Pope and Russia, Ukraine since the beginning. The Jesuits, a military order. All of this being Jesuit ritual day after day by the numbers. So those are my quick thoughts on my quick decode that I just did over the commercial break. Of course, there's probably a lot more to it because that was about a minute and a half's worth of thinking. I'm not sure young guy was done yet, but hey, be quick because we're almost to the end of the show. Final thoughts.
Yeah, so as I was saying, oh man, let me get back to what I was saying. So anyway, what you were talking about earlier, the Kobe Bryant thing. I don't know if you mentioned the Comedy Central thing. Was that Comedy Central? Because the cartoon that I saw was oh shit, I forgot the name.
Are you about Kobe Bryant? Kobe Bryant, Chamberlain Heights, Comedy Central.
Yeah.
November 16th. 1611, like the King James Bible came out in 1611, like LeBron King James passed him in points scored the day before he died in biblical Philadelphia.
And like that commercial from 2011, the one with Kobe Bryant and Kanye, and then it ends in him being dying in a helicopter crash.
That came out in 2011, right? The Black Mamba.
And so you know what's funny? You know that I ran Allie off YouTube, like she deleted her channel and her Discord thing and like everything. But yeah, I can't imagine. I'm surprised that the trolls didn't call in today and like say with the stupid thing that's looping like, oh, good Samaritans, don't tell people to kill themselves or whatever.
Well, there's still plenty of time, but yeah, let's not hear. We got too many people online to even talk about the trolls. Anyway, friend, appreciate the call. Have a good rest of your night. Let's go out to 310. What's up, 310?
Hey, this is T. I'm from LA.
Yeah, man, what's up?
Because I was calling because I wanted to talk about the NFL. I've been tracking the Chargers. I'm a Chargers fan. I've been a Chargers fan since LT was drafted, and I've been noticing with Super Bowl 58, half of 58 is 29. I've been seeing a lot of 29 rituals, and I was thinking it could be the Chargers and the 49ers next year in the Super Bowl 29 years later for a rematch of Super Bowl 29.
That's an interesting thought. They're definitely both contender teams. I mean, they're both seemingly missing a connection to 58, but I'll do some more research on it. You know, Justin Herbert, he's an up-and-comer.
Yeah.
Niners, they were right there. They just needed a quarterback last year.
Exactly, and you said it's purple, and I'm like, well, red and blue together, if you color it together, it ends up being purple. It's going to be 2024, the year of the election, and I'm like, it's making a lot of sense. 49ers overdue for a Super Bowl. Well, Kyle Shanahan is, and the Chargers are too, especially with a Super Bowl appearance.
You got to go against all those Baltimore 58 things they're stacking up, and the latest again was this weekend. The player from Baltimore, number 58. So,
especially like when you guys told me that, because I've been tracking it. When you guys said that today, I thought about it. Gervonta Davis, because I was checking his fight the other day. He just got his 29th fight in Vegas. He just won his 29th win, and with a knockout against Ryan Garcia, and he's from Baltimore, Michigan. So I was looking at that, like, okay, because I was still adding up because he did wear purple that night. He wore purple and green. But he came out with the ring walk and it showed the colors. And he came out and his colors was blue. Ryan Garcia came out, his colors was red. So I was still thinking about the Chargers, but when you guys said that, it made me pay more attention. But I did notice the Chargers had the 21st pick, and we had a Hall of Famer, LaDainian Tomlinson, our 21st pick, and he was from TCU. And our 21st pick this year was from TCU. We picked up 3 people from TCU, and they just played at SoFi Stadium and got blew out 65-7. And I was looking at it, usually when you look at the scoreboard, it says 65-7. And I was like, well, let me take away that like if I was doing math. And it added up to 58. And I'm like, it's a lot of things going towards 58. TCU, their main colors is purple. Another thing I noticed, it's a rapper out here in California. His name is Ab-Soul. And I didn't know his name was Hubbard. And he dropped his album December 16th around Saturnalia last year. And it was named Hubbard. And the same day the Chargers posted they posted a YouTube video. It's like a documentary. It's called All In. They posted a YouTube video, and it was completely all about Hubbard. It's the first time they ever did it. And it was called The Ultimate Competitor. And I'm noticing Los Angeles, adds up to 109. 109 is the 29th prime number. 10 is the 10th prime. 20. Wait, what is it? 10? I think 29 is 109.
29 is the 10th prime. 109 is the 29th prime.
Yeah, and Justin Herbert wears 10. And also, this year with SoFi Stadium, they had WrestleMania 39. And the 49ers player, George Kittle, was random. He was fighting in WrestleMania this year. And the AFC is going to be the home team this year. So it was weird that he was in SoFi Stadium as like a visitor fighting in WrestleMania. I was like, that's weird. Plus, Joey Bosa, his brother, Nick Bosa plays on the 49ers. He was up there at their game wearing the 49ers jersey. The 49ers Leatherman jacket.
Okay.
And I was noticing the Super Bowl. These places like to do things in twos, just like they did Bucks and then the Rams winning in their Super Bowl stadium. This year it could be the Bosa brothers playing in the Super Bowl, just like the Kelsey brothers. They were on offense. Bosa brothers could be on defense. Playing against each other. First time they ever did it. I just been paying attention. I've been working on it. Knockout equals 29. Gervonta Davis got his 29th knockout, 29th win in Vegas.
All right. Well, hey, it's great research. I'd let you go on, but there's a lot of people on hold and we're almost out of show, so I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right,
I'll call back in next time I get some.
Great work. Yeah, he made his point definitely. I decided to go back and look. Philadelphia, the Eagles, Kobe Bryant's team. They had their first Super Bowl appearance in '81 on January 25th, which is the day Kobe got passed by LeBron in points scored the day before his death. But Kobe's career high at 81. It was Philadelphia versus Oakland, kind of like his dad drafted by Oakland. Both of them from Philly. 37 points in that game. Bryant, 37, dies on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant, who died January 26th, 83. That game was 39 years before Kobe's death. Angel 39. Angel Has Fallen came out on Kobe's last birthday. Angels in the Outfield came out 39 days from Kobe's birthday. City of Angels. Super Bowl 39, the Eagles lost into the Patriots. Yeah. The riddles that they do are just so deep, man, and it just shows how the entire world of sports is connected. Okay, let's go out to... No, we already went to them. They didn't pick up. 408. What's up, 408?
Hey, Zach.
How you doing?
I just wanted to do I'm good. I just wanted to do a quick shout out to Luxy for covering the Stanley Cup playoffs. He's been doing a pretty good job. Hit most of the series, even got the Panthers upsetting the Bruins correct. So just a quick shout out to the NHL decoders. And second thing, this is kind of back to the beginning of the show when George was kind of rambling on about he's kind of going in circles talking about the San Francisco Giants and winning the World Series in 2010. Just to keep it simple for George, they won it because of the San Bruno pipeline explosion. I have a video on it. If you want to look at it, you can do that in your own time, but it just felt like he was kind of going in circles. I just have a simpler explanation. But anyways, I just want to keep it quick, and I'll let the rest of the callers get on.
All right, yeah, and shout out to Luxy_91. He does great work with the hockey. Check him out, Luxy91, up on the screen. 843, you're on. $843. Okay, must just be listening. Let's go out to 646, New York.
Hi, Zach. This is New York City calling in. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I just want to talk real quick about the issue, the event that happened on the subway. A lot of racially coded events were happening in New York recently, especially with the Met Gala. you did have like Lil Nas X and Doja Cat dress up in like these elaborate like occult like costumes, especially Doja Cat. It ties into the whole Lunar New Year ritual, because I remember there was that shootout in California that happened on the day of the Lunar New Year. So the theme for the Met Gala was Karl Lagerfeld, and I think he had like a white cat, and Doja Cat dressed up as a white cat, but it also ties into the Lunar New Year because not all countries in Asia, it's the year of the rabbit. I think in Vietnam, it's the year of the cat. So I think that also plays into like the subway incident that happened earlier today, because I do agree, like they're trying to get like another George Floyd event popping off. I've been noticing that since 2020. It's like they need like to gaslight Black people into like a mass rebellion to somehow get to the next stage of implementing like their global agenda. So I just wanted to take note of that, because it's very funny that the same incident happened last year with the alleged Black guy who was a supposed terrorist on the New York City subway, which has all these surveillance cameras that just magically stopped working like 2 days prior, so no one could have seen anything. Right. And also this ties into the Kentucky Derby, because I see one of the horses, I think 4 horses died over the last few days that were supposed to be in the Derby. And one of them, I think it's called Take Charge Breonna. And Breonna Taylor was actually allegedly murdered in Louisville. So there's something going on, like a deep racially coded ritual going on that's connected with the Met Gala, the subway incident, and the Kentucky Derby that's coming up, which is all, and the Derby commemorates like is going to be on King Charles's coronation ceremony date. So I just want to put it out there because I know other callers are waiting and the show is almost done. So thank you, Zach, for all you do. And and I hope you backed up a lot of your videos, because I missed that one with the Bill de Blasio and the 111 video. So I hope that somehow you did back up your previous TFR videos. If not,
it's probably backed up somewhere. I've got most of them backed up.
Right. But being from New York City, I did watch most of your videos during the pandemic at the height of it, so very good.
Well, just remember, when they take down the videos, there's almost a written presentation on my website. So, I mean, you might not get the video and audio, but you can always go back and find the post.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, I'll look it up. So I'll let other callers jump in. Thank you, Zach.
All right, you're very welcome. And just as she brought up, I'm seeing if I can pull it up on GematriaEffectNews. Bill de Blasio, vaccine mandate on 12/6, 201st day of the Ignatian year. And yeah, 111 weeks from taking office. Or no, from event 201, excuse me. Big New York number. So yeah, the video might be down, but the post with all the information's right there.
All right, I'll look it up. Thank you so much, Zach.
Yeah, you're welcome. Care. Yeah, you have a good night. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, let's try it again. 562, call back in. 562. All right, just listening. Let's go out to 908. 908, you're wrong.
Yo, Zach, what's up?
Yeah, what's up?
No, I was actually calling in about that whole New York subway incident, and I was just, plugging away in the calculator, and like you pointed out, Jordan Neely and New York City, they got reverse reductions of 57. So does this guy, David Giffen. I found one of the articles. He's like the head of New York City homeless shelter or something. He's got a reverse reduction of 57. There's a 60 reduction for New York City and that guy as well, David Giffen, that I mentioned. And then Kathy Hochul, who's the governor, she's got a reduction of 51. She just became the 57th governor this year. Again, New York City is a 57 reverse reduction. And weirdly enough, again, I'm just looking on Wikipedia, she became the governor on August 24th, 2021. So I'm guessing that's the first year of the first year Kobe Bryant's day was the first year of it since his death. And there was another weird thing in the article about this kid. They said he was a Michael Jackson impersonator, and I found that real fucking weird because today I think Dave Numerology is 51, right?
Right, it is.
It is. So what was interesting about that is that I think Michael Jackson, he died when he was 50. I think he's born in August of 58. He died in June of 09.
Remember, he died at age 50, but he died in his 51st year of life, and moon equals 51, like conspiracy,
exactly, yeah.
and he died in the time of Cancer, ruled by the moon, and Apollo 11 was the year he turned 11, the moonwalker.
Exactly, and I found that so fucking weird. I'm just like, why the hell would they feel the need to tell us this? And it hit me because you always point out that extra year of life, the year of life he's in. So I found that so bizarre that they would mention that. It was just so out of nowhere. They just told us about, this guy and what happened. And again, like you always say, these headlines, they purposely put them in so that way the numbers line up, and they just want to fuck with us and try to, start, dividing and conquering and get people, and it's just to get the people going. And it's so ridiculous, just to see this, pop up randomly at the beginning of the month. And, you just have so many connections that you can, point to. And obviously you didn't even do the video because the story just happened, but I'm pretty sure you're going to find more about this that you'll connect that, I've just started to research. And I just wanted, to point all this stuff out just to give people a heads up again, even though we already knew it's all scripted, it's all a bunch of bullshit, but that was really all I had. And continue to, be the voice of reason and, get this knowledge out to the rest of us.
Appreciate that.
The world.
Thank you. Appreciate the call, man. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Take care. Okay. Washington State 360.
Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
There?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, this is Michael out in Snohomish.
How you doing?
So hey, there's a couple things I wanted to get in your head that I keep forgetting to get across to you. So you mentioned one time about peeling garlic, and I have a good trick for that. There's two. Have you ever seen this one where you use two steel mixing bowls?
To do what?
To peel your garlic. You were talking on a show one time.
Sure.
About peeling garlic.
I don't know about the two steel balls. How's that work with two steel bowls?
It works crazy good. So you take, you want some multiple cloves. So what you do is you have two of those bowls, like, I don't know, medium to medium small size, and they're the same size, okay? So you're going to sandwich the bowls together with the cloves of garlic loose inside this two bowls, and just start shaking the hell out of it. And that'll loosen up all that skin and create that kind of moisture layer right underneath the skin, and it just slips off.
Oh, okay.
And a similar version, they sell this product. It's like, it's just a little rubber tube. So imagine if you had like a bicycle inner tube and you cut about 4 or 5 inches chunk out of it.
Okay.
Well, this thing's made for peeling garlic. I'm sure it's on the internet. And you just stick a clove of garlic in there and just roll it across the counter like you're rolling out a clay snake, And you just roll it back and forth a few times, and the thing falls right off.
Really? I'm going to have to get one of those. I'm going to have to get one of those.
Yeah, and so there's your... Because if you eat a lot of garlic, which I think you probably do, it's a good trick to have.
Indeed.
And something else I wanted to tell you, and I keep not getting around to it. You've mentioned magnets in the balls before, right?
Indeed.
And to control the like for say a kick or whatever, and it kind of just barely veers off or barely veers in or whatever. Anyways, I never liked that idea. I always thought, I think of the I forgot what to call it now, but the fact that magnets, any electromagnetic energy fades off, at the relative to the square of the distance, right? So it fades very quickly when it's not close to whatever the object, the other object is. So if you had a communication magnetically between the ball and the goalpost at 50 feet out, it's not going to do anything. I mean, or it's going to have to be so heavy to be like an electromagnet or whatever to be powerful. But here's the thing. I think I thought this before. I saw this little clip on the, I think it was 2 years ago. The Seahawks were up for their last game. And they were maybe going to get the wild card position. Do you remember that?
Okay.
So in that game, in the fourth quarter, I think it was, at about 11 minutes left, I think, they spotted the ball, and for just 1 second, they left the camera on the ball as the ref set it on the ground. And it was on an angle like if you were, those kicker things they practice with, and they set the ball in that little tripod, whatever, to practice their kicking.
Sure.
Like that angle. So they set the ball down, and it's sitting there spinning. I always thought they were using a gyroscope, and I think that's what that was about. And why they showed that, I don't know if it was a mistake. I mean, I don't think they'd show it if you could go to a website and look at highlights or something, but if somebody recorded that game, they might see that, on their old recording. But anyway, that ball sat down and it started spinning right there on the ground. So that really led me to think that a gyroscope could easily be controlled from anywhere once the ball's in the air, right?
Sure.
So it takes a very small amount of diversion early in the kick to make a big effect later in the kick, just like being wrong with a gunshot.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So anyway, that's another theory to keep in mind, and maybe you come up with some different confirmation on it. But so here's my last thing. I've tried to talk to you a little bit about getting this community thing together, and I feel like it's really urgent, especially with even so much more of this crap coming out with the CBCDs and all the banking stuff and the market. Everything is kind of just leading to this direction that this is probably sooner rather than later. And, the 2025 thing and the SPARs and all that stuff sort of coming together, that it seems really urgent to me. And the other piece of it is, like, I've been working on this for myself for probably 3 to 4 years. Like, I was already starting, I could see something coming in like 2019. I remember I was working on a job when that September 19th, and the morning I was listening to something, and they were saying, last night, the interest rate, the Fed
We're almost out of show. We have almost no time left. So we got to leave it there, but do call back next week. Yeah, we're out of show, you guys. Okay. Apologies to Missouri, New York, Nevada. Didn't quite make it there. But again, we're on every Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern, 3-hour show. And sometimes we do go over hours, but we got to switch phone numbers because the 213 number, I don't have access to it once this last break starts. Again, TFR, this is being broadcast on TFRlive.com, the Truth Frequency website. And again, I also live stream it on YouTube. So sorry to the last caller, but we did run out of time. And we'll be back next Wednesday. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and share. Help get the word out there. Thank you. All right, we ran out of time there. Sorry to the callers that we did not get to. DK typically calls in at the end of the show, and I see that he's sending me emails right now, so I'm guessing he's about to call in and ask for me to put up the visuals. But yeah, DK is kind of the regular after hours close out the show guest on Wednesday night, and he's done that just by sheer persistence. Let me see. Okay. It's the problem when you get your account deleted 1,000 times. You got so many different emails. It's hard to keep them all on topic. But here's what DK is sending. Let's see. Something about the Thousand Oaks area. He's got something circled there. I guess it's what's going on in the ocean just off the coast. DK's always got some really interesting observations. So yeah, I see. Okay. Not far outside of LA. Is this one of those Jesse Ventura spots he was talking about back in his conspiracy theory days? If you haven't heard, Jesse Ventura, once a wrestler and a governor. He said back in his Navy SEAL days, they used to be planting big bombs along fault lines to trigger earthquakes. Had the big one down in Southern California on July 4th, 2019. The epicenter on the China Lake military base on 7/4. When weapon, nuclear, energy, they all have that Gematria 74, that special number, like the World Trade Center's on the 74th meridian in Manhattan when the Manhattan Project was to develop the weapons. Then they called the site Ground Zero, which before 9/11 the definition was the point above or below ground, where a big bomb explodes like a nuclear or hydrogen or atomic. But okay, so he's got something to say about that, and I imagine he'll call in when he gets a second. But if you guys don't know DK, again, he calls in every Wednesday night. He was just out pounding pavement with us in Los Angeles, all over the city, putting in the good work. And looks like he also sent another email with... Oh, he's calling in right now. What's up, DK?
Hey, Zach.
What's up, man?
I'll talk about those photos at the end that I sent you. So I'll just go over kind of what I have for the week. Some of this you and I have already talked about. But so the story about Lagerfeld dying, I don't know if you were also one of the guys that was wearing the Lagerfeld photo cologne when you were in junior high. That was like kind of a popular...
I've never used cologne. I mean, there might have been a day or two in my life where I put cologne on, but I'm not a cologne guy, so.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, like, that was the cologne, you would use all the cheap stuff when you're, like, in 6th grade and 7th grade, because you're, like, unless your parents are buying it for you, but usually you're using, like, the cheaper colognes. It would be, like, Cool Water and Lagerfeld Photo, and then when you get a little bit older in high school, you graduate to, like, maybe like the Aqua de Jo and stuff like that. Then once you can have a job or whatever, then you can get whatever you want. You start getting the really like Jean-Paul Gaultier or whatever, the more expensive colognes. But it's just hilarious. That triggered that memory. But then they showed him. I guess they showed him with the white cat, and then we already talked about those photos. And then Blofeld, the 007 character is. The guy that's always like in a black suit that's not facing you and sitting in an office chair with a white cat. And then like you also remembered in Inspector Gadget. And this is just like a common thing, I think even in Austin Power, that was Dr. Evil. He shows his face, but like, it's just like a common thing. They have like that Charlie's Angels thing where you never see like the guy in charge, they're always just, you just hear their voice and they're always just, so I don't even know what the whole correlation between Lagerfeld and that is. I mean, I'm sure it's part of the whole, whatever's going on in the world, just the whole world psyop. It's part of that. And
right.
Then I got written down. You were talking about vitamin D or D3 or something.
K2.
Say that again.
K2.
Oh, K2 you were talking about. Okay. Yeah. So K2. It goes with D3. Usually, like if you get good supplements, K2 and D3 are the two things that go together. Were you talking about this regarding statin drugs, or what was the overall theme when you brought that up?
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because they'll get you everything for medical misinformation. But yeah, if you're on statin, you should look more into statin. And if you get off it, K2 can help do something that statin does without the side effects.
Gotcha. Now I remember. Okay, I'm not even going to talk about the actual drugs then, since we already mentioned them. But basically, the way the body actually works is your eyes are like a antenna for light, just like, you know, other antennas are going to get like microwaves or whatever, you know, like a radio antenna or, you know, any kind of antenna. It's set up to receive a certain thing. So your eyes are set up to receive, you know, light codes from the sun. So what happens is, you know, the sun is letting off during certain hours of the day, it's letting off a blue light. That's why the sky is blue and, you know, the ocean is blue, but only in the daytime. And if you tell somebody, hey, we want to go study some blue sky, and then, you know, you give them like a clear mason jar and say, oh, go ahead and, you know, go outside and cap some blue sky for us and we'll bring it in the lab and study it. Obviously, it's not going to be blue. It's just clear like the air that you're in anywhere. It just appears blue because the sun is refracting the blue you know, overwhelmingly blue light during the daytime, and the same thing's happening in the ocean. You know, you see when it gets nighttime, you know, the ocean looks black. And if you go out there and grab, you know, some ocean in a mason jar and you bring it inside, it's mostly clear except for the stuff that's floating around in it. And same thing during the daytime, you can be in Bali in the, you know, turquoise ocean and grab it in a mason jar. It's not green, it's clear. So basically, our eyes are an antenna, and it's basically information for like the brain to start doing stuff. So when you're getting like this blue light during the day in your eyes, it's triggering your body to pull cholesterol out of the blood, and it turns it into cholecalciferol, you know, that, which is basically your vitamin D. So when you don't go in the sun, then you have a bunch of cholesterol that's left floating around in your bloodstream, which then when you hit it with all these like halide compounds like fluoride and stuff, which is it hardens it. And that's how you get plaque on your, you know, in your, you know, arteries and stuff. So it's from not being out in the sun or wearing sunglasses in the sun. That's why they call it Ray ban, because it's banning the rays. It's not some dude named Ray, you know. So they're banning these rays that you need that to go into your eyes, because if you got sunglasses on during the day, it's not telling your body to pull cholesterol out of the bloodstream. So even if you don't eat like a super high cholesterol diet, you're still going to have a bunch of cholesterol that's been unused. That's your body's natural sunscreen. That's why people burn, because they go out with wearing sunglasses. If you didn't have sunglasses, you would just get tan, because your body would be releasing all its own sunblock, which is basically called, you know, vitamin D. So that's and then, you know, everything else is made out of the cholesterol too. Testosterone, like all your cell walls are made out of it. So, you know, when you take these pharmaceutical drugs to lower that, you're lowering your testosterone. You're really destroying yourself from the inside out. It's basically like the fundamental element, you know. And the people that have like the highest good cholesterol are the longest living, like Okinawa area in Japan. So, you know, obviously cholesterol is not bad. Cholesterol is like basically life-giving. It has to be used in its correct way. You can't be out in the sun wearing sunglasses. Obviously, you don't want to wear sunblock either, because only some natural ones, because if you're out, you could be out in really heavy sun. I mean, I tested it myself, 13,000 feet, you know, on the Altiplano in Bolivia. And we were out, you know, at all these like ancient sites like Machu Picchu, and I was just like walking around with my shirt off, and the locals are like, dude, I know it seems like you want to just get a tan, but you can't do that out here. We're so high up, altitude wise, we're so close to the sun, it's going to destroy you. You know, your shoulders are going to burn off. And these guys, you know, these guides and stuff, they're dark, you know, they're dark Bolivians. They're wearing sombrero hats that are covering their shoulders, and like, you know, basically they look like the crocodile hunter, because they're trying to cover themselves so they don't get burned, and they're basically almost black. And they're looking at me and my brother like, dude, don't don't fuck around. You guys are going to be miserable for the next 2 weeks of this trip if you do that. I'm like, well, I just want to test out the theory. You know, I'm not going to wear any sunglasses and no sunblock. I'll put a little bit of coconut oil, which is like SPF 5 on my shoulders, and we'll just rock. And, you know, from like, you know, 8 in the morning till sundown. And when we were back at the like hotel at the end of the night, I mean, I was like super tan, but slightly red. And they were shocked. They were like, I don't know how your fucking shoulders didn't burn off. I'm all, well, it just proves that our body's actually designed to, you know, be like at one with nature and all this stuff. We're just working against ourselves, you know, by wearing like rubber on the soles of our feet, by wearing sunglasses, by wearing sunblock and all this crap. You know, we just like your body has, you know, antenna to get the light called your eyes that's on your head. It also has it all over your skin on the outside and on the inside. Those are called chromophores. So these are all like little antenna that are talking to each other. And they talk to each other through a chemical called DHA, which is another thing statin, well, that pharmaceutical we talk about will fuck up. So there's a bunch of different processes there that are going on. That's why we really need to be in the sun with no sunglasses, and we should be having our private parts also in the sun. But I mean, at least people need to get out there and, you know, don't wear sunglasses. That's why the song is I wear my sunglasses at night. You see these guys like Bono and some of these, they're wearing the blue, you know, the blue blockers at night, the pink rose glasses or whatever. John Lennon, all these guys wear that stuff's all to protect your eyes from, like, when you're a performer, you're getting hit up, you know, with so many lights. You know, it's just destroying your eyesight because of the frequency of those lights at the wrong time of day. So yeah, there's a whole thing behind all that, which, you know, there's pretty much, I don't know if I've ever heard anybody talking about how, you know, wearing sunglasses actually causes cancer and all kinds of shit like that. People be like, what the fuck are you talking about, you know? But yeah, it does. And people who wear contact lenses, you're getting absolutely zero UVB and UVA, which are the ones you need. You know, they tell us these are bad. Actually, no, these are life-giving things that actually trigger your body to do all kinds of things inside, including like things we call anti-aging. So it's not like the sun's not aging, it's actually anti-aging. What's aging is the sunglasses, the sunscreen, and all kinds of other impurities. But, you know, nobody's saying go out and roast yourself in the middle of the day in the sun. No, but we should be out in the sun a lot more than we are, and not just our eyes, but our entire body. Let me go a little bit into the Serbia thing. So what is it saying in American news that 12 have been killed over there?
12 in what event?
In the Serbia shooting, the mass shooting they just had?
Oh, if it climbed, it started out at 8 dead. Maybe it's climbed.
Oh, okay. So I thought you said 12, because I thought you were looking at, because I heard it in the morning, and then I thought you were getting more updated stuff. Because when you said in your earlier stream, you said, I think you just misspoke. I could have swore you said 12. But yeah, okay. So that's what it says in the news in Croatia too. Because I was just looking at to see what they're going to say over there versus what they're going to say over here. But just to give a little background on how what Serbia actually is. So that originally Serbian people were just straight up Russian. They were like blonde haired and blue eyed. Then this one area called Montenegro, which basically means Black Mountain or Black Mountains, was infiltrated by where there wasn't many people living there. And they just infiltrated a bunch of these like Sephardic fake Jews into there, which are like very dark hair, like bushy eyebrows, like bushy black mustaches, and, you know, they're just dark in general, like not necessarily so much skin, but skin as well, but just their hair is so they're just dark, and like the way their eyebrows are shaped and everything. So if you look at like all the politicians and all the main people of Serbia are all actually Montenegrins, you know, so they're all these like fake Jews. So that's how they kind of infiltrated. They infiltrated like the area right next to it and then took over Serbia. Now Serbians are known to be like, they look kind of like, you know, kind of like Novak Djokovic, like with the real like dark bushy eyebrows and dark like kind of like dark bushy hair. I mean, he's kind of like a pansy version of a Serbian. You know, he's so skinny and stuff. They're usually not as skinny as Djokovic, but you know, they're very like kind of like, how would you say, like strong brow line, and then bushy eyebrows. It's just, that's how they kind of look. Like I can tell them apart when I'm out in the area, you know, like out in Croatia, Serbia. I can tell the difference between, you know, that guy's Croatian, that guy's Serbian, I could tell. For somebody else, they wouldn't be able to tell. The people still look kind of similar. So, but anyway, so this whole area was infiltrated with fake Jews, and then they took over Serbia through that. If you look at like the school that the shooting was at, it's a Jewish named school, you know, it's just like Stoneman Douglas is, you know, it's a Jewish school. Not even Stoneman is Jewish, but it also has the allegory to Masonry, Stoneman, you know, stonemason. So it's just like, it's the same thing. You know, I forgot what the name of the school was. I looked at it this morning. I already forgot, but it's some fake Jewish name. It's not a Croatian name of the school. So it's another, you know, it's just, and I asked my aunt right away, I'm like, give me the name of the school. If it's a fucking Jewish name, I mean, she's like, and she's all, hold on, let me pull up the story. So she's looking in the, you know, Croatian newspaper on her phone or whatever, and then she told me, I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Like, how? She's like, yeah, you knew beforehand. How is that? I'm like, well, because it's so obviously fake. It's the same exact script they use here. You know, it's the same shit. So I didn't even bother looking into it too much further than that once I saw that. So, and their capital, which is, they changed the spelling of it in English, Belgrade. It's actually Belgrad. B-E-O, like Beo, like Beowulf, and Grad, which means city. So it's Beo City, like Beowulf. And if you look into the history of, like, you know, this prefix Beo, this is like this same, you know, fake Jewish invading force. The Beowulf was a Viking. So, you know, when they took over this city, which is now Belgrade, they named it literally like, just like Beo City, like Beowulf. It's Beograd. It just, I don't know why in English they changed it to Belgrade, but so again, just more fucking psyop stories, just in a different language. It's just literally the same thing. One last thing before I get to those photos I sent you. So there was a caller, just like, I don't know, he sounded like a older Texas accent guy, just very similar to the guy that calls in and yells and screams. He was talking about this barcode thing. So I went on this, hold on, let me get some water. So I went on this channel, and I see right away the third video down is interview with fake Jew bullshitter Nassim Harriman, who had to run away from me. I told these fuckers I'm going to catch up to. I caught up with that dude in Bolivia, in Tiwanaku, and I started talking behind his back at the group he was talking to. He's a bullshitter guy, basically just packed up and left. So, yeah. Anyways, so I'm going to give myself, I'm probably like the fourth top pyramidologist in the world after Samir Osmanagic, Valery Uvarov, and Robert Potter. Probably a little higher up than that, but I'll just give myself number 4. And I see a lot of these videos are about the pyramids and stuff, and a lot of these channels are doing the same shit these troll Gematria channels do to you, where they're relating stupid shit that's just, yeah, it may be the same number or whatever, but overall it's meaningless. It doesn't like point to some type of ritual or some type of connection. And I'm sure you could probably phrase that better than I just did, but you know what I'm talking about. They're just making connections that, yeah, okay, it does come out to the same number or whatever, but that's not how you use Gematria, you know? So I'm going to have to take a look more into what this guy's saying about pyramids and stuff, because probably from the first video, I'll either know if he doesn't know shit or if he's full of shit.
Sure.
So we'll see. And then lastly, now I'll get to these pictures that I sent you. So your fans and your followers that were in LA were very nice to me and gracious, and you know, they're like, oh, we love to hear all the, you know, the kind of like the stuff that you bring that's not necessarily, you know, Gematria related or stuff like that. So, you know, thank you to them for being so nice. And so I'm going to go into one of my last, it's probably already a couple weeks old now. Let me see. Oh, this is, oops, I already passed it. April 18th. So I don't know, 3 weeks ago or something, or 2 weeks ago.
Sure.
So one of my students, or I don't know if you can necessarily call her a student, more like more like somebody I'm just initiating into the mystery school teachings, just based on their own persistence and desire to learn. So this was the question posed to me, and then I'm going to go through my answer, and which I just wrote basically an article on, and then those are some of the photos that'll go with it at the end. So here's her question. So I had been watching an Epstein thing, and Ghislaine Maxwell said she is a citizen of Terramar, which is like the open seas, question mark. She said they travel in these huge underground submarines. But she also said that these subs can go under the United States, that our landmass is like floating on the water or something. Have you heard of this? Question mark. Like the floating on water thing, question mark. Our continent is floating, exclamation, question. What's this about? So, and then here's I just basically wrote an article as the answer. So I'm just going to read my own article, which is pretty short. So the demonic reptilian cabal that's running the world out of the Vatican claims to own the world and all the souls on it. They call this unum sanctum. It was a papal bull in the early 1300s. They call the land on earth the Holy See, like S-E-E, not the sea like the ocean. So it's sea like the eye, just like the one on the back of the dollar bill. Terra means earth. Mar means sea or the ocean. So the reason Ghislaine Maxwell said she was a citizen of Terra Mar is because she was speaking in code for those with the knowledge that she is a citizen of the ocean. What does that mean? It means she's a pirate. Wait, a pirate? How so? The CIA is known to be the military order of the Catholic Church, or the actual foot soldiers of the military order of the Catholic Church, and the generals being the Jesuits. They are commonly called Catholics in Action for a reason, CIA. The CIA is controlled by members from the Skull and Bones Secret Society. Skull and Bones is the same logo from the pirate flags they used to use before. The Catholic Church was sailing around the world by sea, murdering, pillaging, plundering, raping the people on the lands. So they sailed the high seas to create their Holy See empire, which is actually the unholy sea. So the regular people like us that live on the land are citizens owned by the Holy See Catholic Church. This is what your birth certificate with the sole of your baby footprint on it is for. Now they own your soul, so to speak, before the baby's soul or foot has ever set foot on the real earth, Terra. The people on the land are literally living under pirate law, which we call maritime law. Mar means sea, so maritime. So literally Mar, Saturn, because Saturn or Kronos is actually time. So we're under pirate ocean law, or pirate ocean time law, actually. That's what our fraudulent legal systems are all founded on, is this maritime law. This is what governments were created for in the first place, to enforce pirate law on the land. And here goes the second part where we can talk about those photos. As far as the submarines go, and ... here's my answer to that part. They don't teach us in their pirate educational system about how the earth really works. The radius of the earth is about 4,000 miles. For the geniuses out there, this means that from any point on the earth to the center is about 4,000 miles deep. The average depth of the ocean is only 2 miles. That means there is still 3,998 miles on average from the bottom of the ocean to the center of the earth. The oceans are almost like a thin layer of sweat on your body in comparison for how thick the radius of the earth is, and the diameter as well. The ocean covers 2/3 of the surface of the earth. What they don't tell us is that underneath the ocean floor, there is more ocean that has 2 to 3 times more water than the ocean on the surface that we see does, which already covers 2/3 of the surface of the globe. This ocean underneath the ocean is called primary water. Muammar Gaddafi had drilled into that and was going to turn the barren desert of Africa into a food forest jungle, So the New World Order United States military went over there and bombed the shit out of that humanitarian project with depleted uranium so no one could use that perfectly pure primary water ever again. There are deep caverns, holes, fissures, trenches, etc. at the bottom of the ocean that connect the ocean to the primary water ocean underneath. There are also tunnel systems under the continents all over the earth that are filled with ocean water, or even some with that primary water. These now called CIA former Nazis figured out where the entrances were to these tunnel systems and mapped it all out with their U-boats, which are Nazi submarines for people who don't know what that is. Before World War II, one of the entrances is right above Malibu, California, right off the coast of Point Mugu. Now you can start showing those pictures and they zoom in. As you can see, they built like a Parthenon in Greece underneath the ocean that's like probably 20 miles across and who knows how many miles tall. So these entrances are huge. You can see on Google Earth it's many miles wide and tall and looks like the Parthenon in Greece. You can see it's the size of a small island. They use this tunnel system to travel by submarine under continents and even underneath the ocean floors if they want. The Nazis are said to have submarine-shaped UFOs, or spaceships, if you will, space submarines that are 2 miles long. Yes, a vehicle 2 miles long. They have these tunnel systems going underneath the U.S., South America, and all the way down to Antarctica, where the main Nazi UFO base is, which you can also see on Google Earth. So before they developed their UFOs, they could still go undetected down to home base in Antarctica through these primary water tunnel systems. So that was basically the end of my explanation to her, and then she called me and we talked a little bit more. But and then a side note, FYI, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad owned the publishing company that publishes the textbooks for schools in America, Maxwell Publishing, if you remember. So that's why we don't know about all this stuff, because the people that are involved are publishing our textbooks.
There was a story about Ghislaine Maxwell and submarines too.
When?
Yeah, look it up. I remember when they were talking about that.
Oh, really? Well, see, I didn't even know, but I mean, this was just a question that a friend of mine posed to me, which I know the answer to, but I didn't even know she talked about. Obviously, that's the whole CIA Maxwell family. CIA family.
Look at this. Here, December 15th, 2020, it was published. Is Ghislaine Maxwell hiding a submarine and a bunker? This was going on for a while when they were discussing this.
You know what? I kind of do vaguely remember that. That was when the Epstein stuff was going on, right?
Yep.
Okay, I do vaguely remember. I'm going to have to look into that story, what they said about it. But yeah, that's... And, the phone call between me and her after, I was like, the bottom line is there's a, so-called old antiquated base in Antarctica that was used by reptilians back when Antarctica wasn't in that position, because we have a 23.5 degree tilt on the Earth right now. Back when it was level and it wasn't on a tilt like that, Antarctica was actually tropical. That's why you have some of those woolly mammoths that got frozen while they were eating, because the Earth shifted and the temperature changed so fast. So if you tilt, if you put the equator back 23.5 degrees back to where it originally was, all the land masses are on the equator. Nothing is in the poles, which makes sense. That's we're not supposed to be populating the poles because we're not set up for that. And it's probably like that on most planets where there is life living on the surface, which is also supposedly kind of uncommon. On most planets. The advanced civilizations are living on the interior in caverns, not on the surface like we are, where you're exposed to everything, including, like the way our DNA is set up right now with the radiation from the sun, that you could live a lot longer, like 10,000 years, if you were on the inside and your DNA was doing it in a different way. So anyway, yeah, so the Nazis found that base, and it was through Karl Haushofer that connection was made with this non-human, reptilian race who told the Nazis they can use that old base and go ahead and build it out. That the spaces, they're okay with it. And then that's when Nazi headquarters became New Schwabenland. And I have some videos still of they're all in Russian, where the Russians just were on barges parked around where the Nazis were, just bringing in I-beams, just construction, like they were building out Dubai, and it was just all going under the ice into tunnels. You know, like, where the fuck is this shit all going? So, yeah, they were building that out for who knows how many years. But so that's why all these guys end up going to Antarctica. The Pope, you know, remember when John Kerry, the Russian Orthodox guy, and the Pope, like all these, you know, people all of a sudden going to Antarctica. Like, why would these guys, what are they going to look at, penguins and shit? What's going on? So, yeah, and then if you see those pictures right there, you can see that, if you go to the ones where it's zoomed in, you can see that's a total unnatural feature where they have columns holding up a huge thing where they can go, and this is why, you know, like the coastline right there is all military industrial complex. Once you get above Malibu, I mean, there's miles and miles, you know, I don't know how many, over 100 probably miles of coastline where I know people who go surf, they have to either, you know, climb down the cliff and just jump in the water until like a boat comes over and tells them get the fuck out. But you can't even like surf. It's perfect waves too. If you look at it like Google Maps, you see like a bunch of hot dogs that just all waves breaking perfectly. But it's all military industrial complex. You know, the Channel Islands, you can go to Catalina, but all like San Clemente, you can't even go there. It's fully military. So, you know, in a lot of shit, they have a lot of those, what do you call them when it's not UFO, but when it's on the water, underwater, some other way to say, you know, unidentified underwater object. Maybe it's a UUO or something like that. But there's a lot of sightings out there, and they always say, oh, it's just a military exercise and such. So, yeah, they have a lot of these tunnel systems that go through this primary water or just through fissures of the regular ocean. And no, of course, the continents are not floating. Obviously, you see what happens when a continent moves a slight bit. You have an earthquake that brings down houses. So, no, the Earth is not floating. No, the Earth is not hollow either, like that hollow Earth thing. But it does have a bunch of, it's like honeycomb. There's a bunch of caverns and fissures and such. So it would be very possible for, you know, a whole civilization to be living, let's just say, 50 miles underneath the surface in a cavern the size of Texas, you know?
Sure.
Completely possible. So, you know, that a lot of the alleged, you know, alien or ET craft and such are most likely coming from these areas, not necessarily from outer space. So, you know, this primary water also could have been brought up during the time of the flood, depending on how that flood was caused, whether they brought the moon in closer to make the tides, you know, instead of 6 feet for high and low tide, be like thousands of feet, you know, twice a day. So wipe everything out, or, you know, did they, you know, was there an axial reversal where the Earth stopped and started spinning the other way, causing, you know, a tidal wave to go around the equator, you know, 5-6 times? Probably 5,000 foot tsunami, just like if you were, you know, pushing a wheelbarrow of water and then just stopped, how much of it would spill out. And if it was a, you know, sphere, how much of it would go the other way on the sphere. So depending on how this water, you know, how that flood happened, I'm sure a lot of primary water was brought up as well, because it's connected. So, you know, we got some saltwater lakes at like 13,000 feet, like Lake Titicaca. So obviously we know the, you know, wheelbarrow of ocean spilled up over those mountains into that and created that. Because how did the ocean get 13,000 feet above sea level? That's over 2 miles. So yeah, I think that's about it for that.
Okay, people in the chat are always asking where they can connect with you. DK stays on Facebook. If you guys want to check out his Facebook page, I got it up on the screen. But do you ever think about posting anywhere else besides Facebook?
Well, I got my 2 YouTube channels. The thing is, I just, you know, I kind of stopped posting on them now. It's been like probably, 3 years already, because anything that's relevant that I talk about, they just pull the video down within like 10 minutes. I'd be like, I post the video, then I go in the gym, I come out, it's gone already. I'm like, God damn it, you know? And so I kind of like lost, almost like kind of lost interest doing a YouTube video, because it seems like, why should I waste, you know, 20-30 minutes doing this YouTube video? I can just put this post on Facebook. If they block it for 30 days, fuck, block it. But at least I didn't spend like 30 minutes on it, you know?
Right.
So if a bunch of people like subscribe to my channel, because this is already like now my 4th channel, then I'll start posting videos again. But they were blocked. You can't even search for my channel. So it's like I have to actually send somebody the link for them to get on. You can't. If you search for it, you can't find it. So it's just stupid, you know.
Sure.
Like if I have an advertisement on my back saying, you know, go to a State of the Consciousness YouTube channel, and they never find it, you know, and I could have the picture of my, you know, like of my tile and everything, and it just doesn't come up. So let me see. Let me put my eyes on the chat. What are they saying? I don't really see any questions.
Somebody's talking about Duke Riley. Do you know what that is?
Which one?
Duke Riley, underground sub. Somebody's talking about it, but I don't know what Duke Riley is.
Is that a name of somebody?
I don't know. I've seen him write it multiple times in the chat. A football player's coming up.
I organically lost a piece of moldavite at Lake Mojave. Yeah, moldavite's good. Tektite stone comes from Moldavia, where this thing crashed. I don't see any other questions. I'm trying to scroll up. Gaddafi tapped into the Daniel Plainview. Is that what you're talking about, Zach?
I don't know. Somebody just keeps dropping the name Duke Smiley in the chat.
Yeah, people can look into that thing that happened over there. You know, you can drill to this primary water if you know, like, obviously it's not perfectly at the same depth everywhere, just like the ocean's not the same depth everywhere. But you know, they had, in older times, they had dowsers that would tell you where the water is, you know, where they had like underground water crisscrossing, and that's where you would build like these ancient sites. So if it's like a ley line plus there's underground water, you're going to get a lot of like electromagnetic activity. So like, for instance, underneath like the Giza pyramids, there's water that runs crisscross at two different, you know, depths, which creates an electromagnetic field in between, which is perfect, you know? So I don't know if you know what dowsers are. Some of these, they hold these like antennas in their hands. They can tell you where like water is underground and stuff. And what I got, I didn't pick up the $100 bill and give it to Jeff. I'm always finding money. My friends are always like, why do I got my head always down when we're in the club or in a bar or something? Because I'm always looking for money, especially in those places. I'm common with finding money. So me and Jeff were walking, and ahead of me, you know, we were walking upstairs, probably like 50 stairs, and I see it's up on the stairs ahead of us. So we were walking. I stopped about 3 stairs before it, and then at that point, Jeff noticed it too, and he just grabbed down. I was surprised it was 100. Usually I find 20s or like 5s. But I mean, commonly at a bar, I'll always be looking at the ground in the dark and walking around, and people see me like kind of pushing a few people out of the way, saying, excuse me, and bending down on the ground. They're like, what the fuck is DK doing? They're like, oh, he probably found money again. I mean, you know how many times I'd be at the bar and find like, you know, just a wad of be like 3 20s, a 10, a 5. So somebody is reaching in their pocket to pull out their, you know, debit card, and in the meantime yanking out all their money, and it just, you know, people have a few drinks. The most common place you'll find money is in front at a bar, right at the bar, and nobody's looking down on the ground right there because they're all trying to get a spot at the bar to order a drink. It's hilarious.
Sure. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, so I just stopped, and I was like, I'm just gonna let, you know, him grab it, see what it is, and then I was like, what is it, a 20? He goes, it's 100. I'm all, shit, it's your fucking lucky night already. The lucky night just keeps on going.
Yeah, perfect. His night.
Yeah. So. He's texting me right now. Let me see if it's anything regarding the show. No, just funny memes. Okay.
Yeah, he's always got the memes.
Yeah, he's the meme guru.
Indeed. Well, very interesting, and yeah, it does make you wonder. So.
Yeah, if you guys want to, most of my like esoteric type of posts will be on my Facebook page, because that's like for very few people. Even people who are like truth seekers, you know, 1 to 3% of them are going to be into stuff like that. They're more into stuff that you can see and put your hands on, and like go, you know, like that they can like kind of like prove to themselves that they don't have to wonder about. So that stuff will be like usually on my social media, and then, you know, I have a core group of maybe like 60 people that follow that from a few different countries, that they're specifically looking at my stuff for that type of work, not like, you know, oh, the shooting's fake. You know, they want to know stuff like, you know, they want to know other stuff, bottom line. Stuff that's way more like hidden and like obscure. So that would be a good place if you want to look at that kind of stuff.
Okay. Very good.
Anyway, you know what? You're coming down. Again, it's going to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just by chance or luck or by organic code.
Yeah, I'm figuring out how I'm going to do it because I want to hit the other cities as well. But yeah, LA 824 is the big event.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to say something about that. I forgot. I wanted to say something to you about that in LA, actually. When you go to the big cities, I think you should do the big city first and then on the way home, because, you tire yourself out a slight bit on the way there, and then, like, it's, you know what I mean? I think it would be better if you did it the other way around.
I think that's what I'm going to do, just drive straight through to LA and then work my way back up.
Yeah, and then maybe you'll pick some of the people up that say, "Oh, I didn't even know you were out," but then they'll see you in LA for 3 days, be like, "Hey, I'll be back up in Frisco or whatever," and then they'll be able to, like, they'll be ahead of the game a little bit instead of like you just showing up,
Indeed.
I think especially that mattered in New York because that was a hellish trip. You stopped so many places before that. It was like that was already enough before you even got to New York.
Yeah, indeed.
One other thing I just wanted to say was right on the tip of my tongue, and now I completely forgot. Oh well, I'll figure it out if it's important.
All right. Yeah, I just posted DK's Facebook link in the chat for anybody who wants to connect with DK. Is that it for tonight?
Yeah, I think so. Unless I looked at the chat earlier for if there was any questions, but I don't see any.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, DK. Very interesting. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you later, Zach. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah, take care.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, there totally could be places inside the earth. Again, in 2019, all year, CNN was running the billionaire bunkers story that they'd update every week or bi-weekly. And then, again, Ghislaine Maxwell at the end of 2020 about her bunker submarine rumor. I mean, we only know what we know, right? And we know that we've been in indoctrination school our whole life and helping us learn false history and false understanding and, mutilated spirituality. It's just like everything we've been taught, it's not correct. Indeed, Bamboo. I'll be back, man. Yeah, college campus would be great. So what I need is more people to support the work so we got more resources. When I go back down there, I want to have a second speaker. It's a lot more to carry, but it would be nice to have a speaker pointing both directions. It would double the output of what we're doing. So it's extra work, extra expense, but also in a way makes things twice as effective. Also, I am planning to go out to Idaho this weekend, University of Idaho, for all the people in the University of Idaho area. Again, it's a little bit more than a 3-hour drive each way, so there'll be a lot of driving that day. But definitely want to engage with that town about what happened there with the Kings Road killings that were announced in the news on King Charles's birthday. And I feel like this weekend's a good time with the King Charles coronation. So I'll keep you posted on that if it's going to be Saturday or Sunday. But it's the end of the school year there, so students will still be around, but they'll be done with finals. I was thinking about when the right time to go was. I almost went, but I was like, it's finals week. Maybe that's not right to go blast this information, get their heads all rattled right before finals. But finals week supposed to end Friday looking at their school schedule. So we'll engage with the students who should have some free time over the weekend and maybe ready to digest the information. Again, thank you to everyone who supports the work. It does help buy things like the nice speaker that we use, helps with travel costs, gas money. And stay tuned for this weekend. Again, Idaho, talking about, remember, on the same day, on King Charles's birthday, it was Monday, November 14th, both stories broke about the Kings Road killings at University of Idaho and also the University of Virginia Cavaliers killings when those who fought for King Charles were Cavaliers. Of course, both stories supposedly happened that Sunday on the 13th of November, but both stories broke on the King's birthday. So, yeah, Nashville, another place I'd like to go to. I feel bad that I'm not going to be at the Kentucky Derby, But again, we got to get more people to support the work. A lot of support fell off when it shouldn't have. And again, we got to bring more people back in. So we'll leave it there. Have a good rest of your evening. Thank you to everyone who hit the like and the share. If everybody would share this work, it would get out there a lot more. Thank you to everyone who does. And have a great rest of your evening. Until next time, Truth Seeker.